Commissioners, we are live.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the January 8th meeting of the Riley County Commission. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business is to reorganize the Board of County Commissioners. Happens every year. Just that. I believe you need a motion.
What do we, I don't know how we.
Motion for the chair and
Chair.
vice chair member.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for John for chairman and myself for vice chairman for next year.
Okay, well, I'd second that. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
So
John?
the gavel moves over this way.
Yeah, I don't think you want my gavel.
I've got one that's pretty old and beat up too.
Well,
Mine-
mine's a different one. You probably don't want that.
No.
No, it's really not.
Come on.
We'll save that for a couple of years.
Yeah. I think we-
Yeah.
Get your wig.
Well, you know, there would have been a time 200 years ago where that would have been okay.
True. Well, why would that be kind
Yeah,
of
mine's
good?
twice out.
Yeah.
So you keep
I'd like
that
to put
in
a
your
little maybe
office.
salt and pepper in
Then
it.
you'll keep it on there.
But we'll leave it for now. So, okay, well, good morning, everybody. I guess we're all preparing for what's apparently coming this afternoon, but we got a ton of rain this morning, so kind of got me worried about what that's gonna look like with snow and ice and cold, but we'll deal with it. That's what we do. So we'll start off with some public comments this morning. It looks like Russ is quick to get up to the mic.
Yeah, just want to remind everybody, if they haven't seen it already, that we're looking at some severe winter weather and if you pay attention to the media outlets and county Facebook feed and be aware of what's coming, be aware the weather service stressed yesterday in the webinar that I attended that there'll be a first round and then a lull or a pause and then a second round. And so don't be surprised and think it's over when it's probably not over. And then later on in the week, extreme wind chills, Friday, Saturday, I think even starting Thursday. I think Saturday at noon, they're talking minus, was it 14 or 17 for Manhattan wind chills. Be ready and prepared and try not to get out if you don't have to.
And we're working on some emergency measures for that, such as a warming center possibly, and
Vivian will put out the list of places that people can go. We don't, as of this time, have any plans of opening anything special.
okay.
Just the normal places they can go, such as the library, mall, shelter, and places.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Not see anybody up on Zoom, so.
Commissioners, would you please add an executive session to my administrative time at 10:40 for potential pending litigation?
Okay, I'll go ahead and add go make a motion to add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative work session on pending litigation.
Second.
Seconded on those motions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, one thing I will say is I also will be providing for the board's review a potential letter of support on Senate Bill 196 at some point during the meeting. We'll discuss that. It's not on the agenda. Didn't have time to do that, but
Let's just plan on doing that at the end of the meeting. Gives you plenty of time.
sure.
Okay.
John, you might want to have one of us make the motions. I know you're used to doing it.
On that one, I am,
Yeah.
Okay, anything else from the public this morning? And then we'll move on to commissioner comments and I'll start with Commissioner McKinnon.
All right. After Thursday's meeting, I had a discussion with Rich Vargo about a number of things going on in the county and some future directions we're looking at. And Friday, I'd sent an email to Senator Tyson about the tax exemption for disabled veterans bill that Proctor is pushing. And I kind of listed some of the questions, objections we had about it. She sent me a note asking to call her. So we had a nice discussion on the bill. She indicated they were probably not in favor of it. She didn't think it would pass through the Senate. I did look up, it passed the House 123-1. So you can vote against veterans. You know, it's especially in the election year. But they're looking at some other possibilities in lieu of that. And then, but she suggested we could send a letter regarding our stuff on that bill. Is that the one?
That's not
It's
23. And it's next week, I think.
Yeah, it's not till the 7th, till the next.
I didn't actually get an actual day. There was like a 3-day window
Well,
or something.
well, she gave me the first day, it's what is it? The 16th is the people in favor of it, 17th is people against it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then then we also talked about and also in our Senator Reddy is on that committee, tax committee. Then we also talked about several other things the legislators doing, including the LIVTR, and we didn't agree on some of the things, but we had a good conversation, so it was good. Then I also had a couple of calls with Clancy about those bills and my call with Tyson. But, I had a good conversation with her. It's good to get some connections there.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's all I had.
Mr. Hogan?
Okay. Well, let's see, Thursday after a meeting, I spent some time in the office going over documents and discussing some issues with Shelley Woodard. Later that afternoon, I had an MRI at OSMC clinic in preparation for some surgery in February. And then that evening, I had a rather long meeting at my church. And she's going forward. Friday caught up on paperwork, shoveled some snow, reviewed a document for the Keats wastewater project, and then talked to Shelley about that document. So over the weekend, watched some football games, caught up on household chores, did some shopping, made a lot of phone calls on my insurance coverage. But there's been some issues with it in my car. Finally, I'd like to say I've enjoyed being the chairwoman for the past year, and I'm pleased with the cooperation and accomplishments that the county and this board together have made in 23, and I look forward to 24. And that's all I have.
Okay. Well, as for me, I'm actually going to start off with an apology this morning.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what happened Thursday, but I think with the working for 22 hours over the 2 days before, and I started some new medication at the beginning of the week, and I have had some kind of reaction or something to it and everything together. And so, if you noticed, obviously I left early. I got sick and was really sick all day Thursday, much like some other people for different reasons, but it hit me fast, and I'm not for sure what happened, but I apologize. And
You didn't look good either.
No, my demeanor just was not, it was just not right on Thursday, and I apologize all the way around for that. So, although I did on Thursday make the Zoom meeting of the Riley County Mental Health Task Force. It's a meeting they usually have in person and was in person, but there was no way that was going to happen on Thursday. The large part of that meeting centered around just reviewing and summarizing the 2 local mental health assessments that took place, one by Pawnee Mental Health and the other one by the Flint Hills Wellness Coalition over the fall last year. We also took some time to discuss Medicaid expansion in Kansas and what that would mean, particularly to the mental health side of things. And the large discussion came up on what this task force is and needs to be moving forward in the future. We're going to meet again in February instead of having a regular CIT meeting. They usually one, and then the next month we have the other. And so we're going to do that again to get a little bit more into the weeds on this particular discussion, and just kind of develop a better plan and strategy and foundation for this group needs to be. Does it just need to be what it is? Does it need to be a little bit more regional? There's going to be a dialogue about that. It's going to exist in some shape or form. I think it has to, but what that looks like, it's a discussion that just needs to be had. So Friday, I made it in and visited with the doctor, emergency visit. We had quite the long conversation on some things. I have been real happy with some things in 23, and just not always excited about making changes and then having to go through things that happen like on Thursday and, side effects or, reactions, whatever you want to call it. I wasn't happy about it. We had a long discussion about it. I'm just hoping 24 is a little bit better in that regard and we're moving forward in a better direction with things at this point in time, or it may be time to think about something totally different. Later Friday afternoon, they had the first pre-law board meeting for 2024, leading up to January, I believe it's 16th meeting. We won't meet on the 15th because of Martin Luther King Day. Overall, it should be not such a long agenda once again, but we will start the pre-planning process for the 2025 budget. You have several early in the year items to work through. There is an event Thursday night celebrating the 50-year anniversary of consolidation that's happening this year. 3 local agencies, the Ogden Police, Municipal Police Force, Manhattan Police Force, and the Riley County Sheriff, who all 50 years ago consolidated to make what is now RCPD. Should be good to hear various entities about that along the way. I mean, the original people obviously aren't with us anymore, but just to hear everybody's perspective on that, 50 years is a long time. So
When and where is it?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. I just didn't remember right off the top of my head. It is at the LEC, 5:30 to 7:30. It is by invitation only. Some snacks and refreshments will be provided. Yeah, the email.
I'll have to look back.
Yeah, I was told you guys did receive an email.
Okay, I'll have to look back, and it came from
Nicole.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And just to kind of finish out, I gotta get back to my notes here. Went to the basketball game Saturday. I was crossing my fingers because every time I seem to go to basketball games now, we either lose or we don't tend to play well. So I'm starting to think that we were bad luck. So good to see we had not just a win, but a very convincing win on Saturday. So that kind of changes my mind a little bit on that. It's a good way to start the Big 12 play. Just can't quite put my finger on this team just yet. UCF isn't great, but they're not bad either. So we'll see. It should be interesting. January, February, and March there. Yesterday, watched some football. Jaguars laid an egg. Also, did they lose the AFC title, but they're not in the playoffs too. So they're totally out. The Chiefs fans will be happy to know that you're going to have to pay Saturday night to see the game.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Your game's streaming on Peacock, so you have to sign up for it.
I get that one.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's $5.99 or $7.99.
Kidding you.
No, I'm not kidding you.
I'm good for you to fill that, Commissioner Ford.
Well, they've done it already. They did it a couple of the Saturday night games. I just can't see how that's taken off. I just can't see it. But anyway, if you're a Chiefs fan, get prepared for that. I would say do it early because until that application isn't exactly the best of how they have that set up. So if you want to watch Saturday's game, do it early. So, or if you're going to the game, bundle up because it's going to be really cool too. We're playing the Dolphins, so
It's going to be in Kansas City, right?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that should favor us as warm weather teams.
Yeah, they don't-
Good and cold.
Teams with a lot of speed don't always do well when it's
the
0
ice.
or lower.
Just like the drivers with a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TCU and KU looked awful good.
Somebody was gifted that game.
Who
Huh?
won that?
Somebody was gifted that game.
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
for sure. But man, those teams
I
are
had some
good.
other words, some other adjectives I would use, but I won't.
KU, but
Now,
the refs were the 6th person on the floor for them.
Oh,
at
So
the end of the game, they made some calls very favorable.
I didn't.
Nobody's surprised. It's typical. Okay. Well, that's all I've got this morning. So
Ready for
Go ahead.
business,
Head to
commissioners?
business, yeah.
first item I have, the motion for the proclamation for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration Day of Service Proclamation.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proclamation for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration and Day of Service. All in favor?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Gonna take a meeting or two. It's been moved and seconded on motion for the proclamation for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s community celebration and day of service. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three sign, please.
Won't do that again.
We're all, well, it's just like Clancy's, we're all trained to do that after a course of a year. Just.
It only takes us a year to do it.
Yeah. Then you get used to it and then start over. At least I signed on the right one.
Yeah. Ain't that bad to go through, seriously.
You want to take turns on motions?
It's on January 3rd is when we got that. I got that
Oh,
thing,
okay.
that email on that.
Okay.
Do you put a seal on both of them?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I will. You. Next, need a motion for the tax roll corrections.
I had a question on those. I can find them again. On Anna, on that one for the community house.
Yes.
It looks like, I mean, the overall value changed a little bit, but they just said it was more residential. But is that,
That has to do with the allocation, what percentage was allocated to the commercial versus which percentage was allocated to the residential side. And so we did get that corrected, how much was commercial versus residential.
okay, it was just.
It was an allocation, when you have mixed use on a property, like the
How you
community
divide
house.
it up, like I say, it looked like it switched to 50-50.
Yeah.
And the overall thing changed a little bit, but
Yes, it was
it was
more about
just
the
the
allocation.
allocation. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, then I'll make it. Go. Move to approve the tax roll corrections.
Second.
It means a second on approval of tax roll corrections. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
Maybe time where I need to update my pen too.
Yeah.
Better one.
No, I've got a whole stack of them.
Next, I need a motion to approve Lori Hanson's application to become an ISP member.
Okay, well, I'd make a motion to approve Lori Harrison's application to become an ISP member.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded on an application for Lori Harrison to be an ISP member. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
John, we may need to trade spots there.
Yeah, we just have to shuffle things around. Let's, that color code. It's just a noise. I gotta remember to put 24 on everything too.
Mm-hmm. Next, I need a motion to approve the advisory board appointment letters and resolution.
Oh, I have a little problem. And that is appointing Brenda Jordan to the two committees. I think one is enough for her schedule, as it's stated that she couldn't make a lot of the meetings to the Economic Advisory Board because of her schedules.
No.
Being appointed to both the Fair Board and the Rural Economic, I kind of think that we could find somebody that might have a little more time. Yeah.
You said she had, because I knew she had been on it.
Yeah, she was on it, and
She's been missing a lot.
yeah, there were some comments in the paperwork that she I'm sorry, she couldn't make a lot of the meetings because of her schedule. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I think that board's going to be really important for next year.
So, do we need to make a motion for each one of these or just all of them except that one? How to do
Which
that?
one would you not appoint her to then? 'Cause she's on two of them there.
The rural economic development. Yeah. She's on the fair board. She's been on-
Yes, she is.
Or will we? Yeah, would we?
Yeah,
So yeah, you just wouldn't sign that letter and then we'd have to get a new resolution,
Yeah.
of course.
For someone else?
Let's just bring it back to you with the corrections on
Yeah,
Thursday.
just make a motion to table it for now.
Oh, to table all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I made, excuse me, I motion to table the appointments for the advisory boards.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to table the current resolutions for appointment letters and resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there some other occasions?
Probably not. It's, most of those things are kind of like looking for a hen's tooth and finding someone to volunteer for those things.
I have a couple ideas.
Who made a motion table that? Was that you, Catherine?
I did.
Oh, great.
We're probably gonna go back and forth.
Switch off.
Who knows?
Okay, next I have Riley County Employee Action Form, Anthony Baker, as needed MCH intern, Health Department, separation of service, Ashley Easterday, new hire payroll clerk in the clerk's office.
I think we're taking care of it.
Good.
Yeah, another interesting tidbit is that's actually Cindy Cabral's daughter.
Oh, really? The Easter day.
Mhm.
We used to have a Easter days in Atwood. It was a vet. Didn't ever, I don't know if it's any relation. That's good. That's good.
Starts the 22nd. Yes. Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I was wondering when it's printed, when we had those credits instead of charges, that you might put the minus in front of the amount or say credit.
Yeah, we probably have to, yeah, I see. It's, those are canned programs. So we probably have to put an extra space in there for it to wrap around. That's
Yeah,
how they
yeah,
do
yeah.
those things.
That way, people are reading it, they
Mhm.
might say, oh, we did extra.
Yeah.
Oh, the change orders.
Yeah, change orders.
Actually, deducts.
I do
No,
that.
it shows it, but it's not right in front of it.
Unless you want to say deducted amount of something.
Amount of minus, the minus sign
Minus
is
is
there.
up there,
Yeah,
but it's on
the line before.
line before.
Line before, oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just,
how it wraps around
yeah,
within the
it's
system.
people reading it would understand.
Yeah.
it's credit. That's the only thing I saw.
I move to approve, excuse me, approve the minutes of the January 4th meeting.
I'd second that.
So we can second on approval of the meeting from the January 4th meeting of Riley County Commission. Those in favor?
Aye.
How the tentative agendas look, commissioners. Yep. Any items for next week's press conference? Actually, there isn't one for next week. Correct?
Yeah.
Is there?
Might not Monday.
Yeah.
Do you know who's going to be speaking at the Good Morning Manhattan?
Yes, Secretary of State Scott Schwab.
Oh, okay, that's,
Yeah, this is a rare Monday meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, the last.
This time of year.
Next week. we will-
This time of year it is.
And we have a retreat the next day too, so. that's-
Right. Okay, commissioners, I'm up next at 9 o'clock. Have a little break.
And actually, that retreat's usually a 2-day retreat, so it's usually the Thursday and the
Mhm.
Friday. So this year it's just Friday.
Mhm.
I kind of figured both. Okay.
This is the 2024 pay. That's in the value of the benefits and- I was wondering, same thing, so here's the accomplishments and the awards, and then this explains the pay process. This is your 2024 pay, so it is the increase that you're getting plus the total annualized amount, so this will be your biweekly rate. And then this is the value of the benefits you received in 2023.
Okay.
Makes sense?
And then if I want to increase the withholding.
Yeah, well, yes, and we have to do that on pay lottery, but we
Yeah,
can walk
that's,
you-
yeah, because I couldn't,
yeah, we can walk you through it, yeah, no, it's gonna,
I may have to, I gotta talk to my tax guy.
yeah, I'm trying to figure all that out too. Oh, okay, sorry. This is an opportunity to meet with a lawyer too.
Yeah, you'll get over this. Okay.
All right, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you dropped your hat there.
Oh, I put it somewhere.
I should have brought my, they're really heavy.
There you go. It's starting to snow.
Oh, is it?
Moving the snow finally.
No snow.
It's still raining.
It was coming sooner or later.
Well, we haven't had a winter for a while since. And it's
So I drove this west.
This next
Full
pool
spell
spell.
instead of my last time.
Yeah.
When I was gonna say, yes, I'm not going anywhere.
After this, I've got a 1:30 meeting and that's it for me.
I think that the grocery stores have a connection to the weather. They can tell them, hey, we're kind of full right now. Can you put out a thing saying
Yeah.
have a storm? Good
We need
grief.
to get rid of some bread and some
Okay, we
eggs.
went by the grocery stores in the parking lots.
Oh, I know, they're packed.
Full of people, everybody running in that.
Yeah.
Pickup thing.
All right, it's 9:00. Rich, go ahead.
Evening, Commissioners. Rick Barber, Raleigh County Clerk. First report is 2023 year-to-date wage and overtime compared to budget report. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, we're at 100% point in time of year for 2023. The numbers are reflective of that year's budget. You can see those that were the far right-hand column, the percentage compared to budget where they ended up. So far to date on their personnel. Always like to look at the overtime amounts at center column. The percentage of overtime, and of course, when saying out TMS ambulance, but everyone has to remember that's the overwhelming majority of that is scheduled, planned, budgeted overtime because they are a 24/7, 365 days a year service. Overall, budgetarily on overtime, we're at 5.52%. You know, those are typically higher for CMS ambulance. And then of course, this time of year, you will start seeing public works go up because of the impending weather we're seeing coming up later today and this weekend. So that's why we do budget more overtime in public works, noxious weed, and solid waste for those employees working those departments due to the weather situations that they have to go out to. Any questions on that first page, Commissioners? Next page, a little bit more detailed breakdown per department of those regular salary, seasonal, and overtime. See where that gets paid out of. Any questions over those, Commissioners? This next report is 2023 year-to-date budget activity report. Those highlighted in the blue are have exceeded that 100% or got very close to that 100% on here. As you can see, corner, that's always the best guess of the Commissioners. They never know, so it went over a little bit. Bears close, budget appropriations, well, was anticipated 100%, and then general fund transfers, of course, we ended up getting approval from the Commissioners to transfer the CIP that we had anticipated originally. Always like to point out the county general line, that third blue line down is 3 lines below there. We're at 42%. Remember, that's atypically low compared to most budgets because of the budget stabilization amount that we hold in that fund, which we'll go over here a little farther down. Any questions on that page, Commissioners? Next page, you see none of them are highlighted in the blue, over 100%. So that's all good. That's the reason Brittany keeps a good close eye on those a couple months prior to the end of the year. That's why we have the budget amendments, Commissioner, to be sure we don't have any budget violations. Same with any questions on the second page. If not, the third page is the same, but these are all enterprise funds, Commissioners. There are no ad valorem taxes used in these funds. It's either through special assessments or fees to those individuals that live or own properties in those districts. Any questions on that page? Next report is just a comparison from previous years, 2022, December to December, and also year to date through December. Just a little snapshot for Commissioners to see comparatively where departments are. It's not always an apples to apples comparison, but it gives you a little snapshot of the change from one year to the next. Any questions on those pages?
Well, I did have a question because when you look at the bottom, the last one, talking about what the budget versus cost, we're at 53 and 81. I kind of looked through to see where those are. And I know some of them, like one of them is the sales tax on the bridges, and then the CIP. But there was one on the front page, or the first page, I guess the county general. There's 4.5, is that where our, I can't remember what it's called,
Stabilization.
The federal funds.
the budget stabilization.
Oh, the budget stabilization, yes, it is in there, in the
That's
general.
That's what that one is.
Uh-huh.
And then, but then what's then on the next page, the second one, disaster fund? What's that?
That's those federal funds that we received.
Is that the ARPA stuff? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, I knew there was a lot of stuff carry over and I couldn't think, but I was coming up one short. I
Yeah,
forgot
those
about
are
the
some big
ARPA
numbers.
money. Yeah.
Those are some
I
big
forgot about-
Well, it's ARPA and there's a little bit of CARES Act money
Yeah,
still.
right,
too,
correct.
right? So it's
Okay,
both.
well, I see. The others, I knew where the big, I thought I was coming up missing one, but the ARPA ones went up.
Yeah, those two big projects, of
Yeah.
course, the North Ambulance and then the Central Administrative Ambulance Facility, plus that 800,000 we've allocated to the Keats sewer project will most likely more than take up all of that funding. So we will see, we'll find out soon. Of course, the big one on that is the new administrative EMS ambulance.
Does it include the interest on those funds too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are drawing sizable interest off of that.
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Any other questions, Commissioner? Yeah, those are some big numbers. Next board here is the this is the breakout of that general you were just talking about, Greg.
Oh,
The final stabilization amount of 4 million in there. Of course, history on that budget stabilization amount. Of course, I've been here a long time, and in 1993, when we had the flood, I was the accountant in the treasurer's office, and Eileen King, who was the treasurer at that point in time, her and I were about to go to the commissioners and say, you have to halt all spending, because at that point in time, we did not have a large reserve, and we were about out of liquid cash to address all of the flood issues that were going on, all the additional expenditures, because we did not get reimbursed from FEMA until after, of course, all of those events. So I was filling out those reports to get reimbursed, but of course, we had to spend the money first. And so from that point on, from 93 on, is when Riley County developed this budget stabilization. And it is solely to address emergencies such as a flood, tornado, something where we need large sums of money. COVID, potentially, that was one where we got really close to potentially needing some of those funds to address those concerns prior to getting reimbursed from the federal government. So it's kind of like a savings security account for our community when we go through one of those types of disasters or a pandemic.
Is that, I know I've asked this before, but is that any bit of those funds interest bearing? No.
I mean, yeah, it goes into county
Right.
general as a part of our revenue in the budget. That's in that second page on interest income. It'll be part of that number.
Okay.
but it's not put into this. You didn't put into that line item.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just
that
our-
line
just
item
our
is a part
overall
of revenue to develop the entire budget.
Curious to see what that's driving interest wise.
So if there's 4 million per year put into that fund, probably is
No.
that the total amount we've got?
That amount stays the same. You know,
Oh,
we come to the commissioners and ask you to increase it 200, our policy is $250,000 each year.
Oh, okay.
Some years it gets approved, other years it does not.
Yeah, it's only $4 million over 30 years,
Mhm.
30
Okay.
budget years.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to put $4
Would be
million
nice, yeah.
in there.
You know, the interest income is good now, but then of course, when interest goes back down, you lose that revenue
Right.
source, and then you gotta make it up someplace else, and everyone knows where that someplace else is, and that's ad valorem taxes, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that
But
page?
that's why I'd like to track it now, because I know it is a little bit larger and
Mhm. Yep, it definitely is. Next reports RCP expenses paid by Riley County. Physician laboratory hospital, you can see all of those. What, go ahead.
I was gonna have you back up on there. I guess one I missed in that equation was the indigent attorney fees.
Oh, huh?
Is that really the accurate number, Fancy?
What is it, 420 something?
I'm looking at it.
The year to date.
Yeah, the year to date at 296.
6.4.
Yeah, it's been lower
Uh-huh.
overall, but that could be, I don't think it would change much. We put 425, I think, in.
Yeah, and don't know how recent they've submitted all their bills.
That's the key.
Okay.
Maybe Scott vouchers come in, but I don't think it's gonna be up anywhere near that total.
Okay.
Now I've
425
cursed it.
is what we put in it.
I think it's 470. 2 or something.
It was,
We're well under.
we were very surprised during the year how slowly it was being brought down. But again, that's probably due in part to still the backlog, I assume. And then you add into that the court's problems with the statewide. So that may stall some.
Well, like I say, they could be.
Eventually, that's gonna actually cost at some point in time, is gonna be
One thing I did want to point out on here is that top line, once again, one of those things that's hard to predict is personnel separation of service. We're gonna work on that, but it's always the best guesstimate.
Yeah.
Some employees let us know the year and month and day they're anticipating on retiring and others don't. As early as when developing the budget, you have to remember, which is a long time prior to, it's several months before the next year even starts. And so that goes over a little bit, but we always budget accordingly based on those that we know, and Elizabeth does a great job of tracking who's eligible for retirement. And we do ask people, but some people let us know and others do not.
It's kind of plateauing a little bit, isn't it, or no?
Yeah, we had, that first 2021, maybe it was 22, we had quite a few retirements, and it just, maybe COVID played an impact on
I think that's.
exhaustion, but also we were at that, kind of that age.
Yeah.
We had a group of people that were just kind of at that age to retire. Yeah, I think we have some people who have some significant tenure, so we will be expecting retirements pretty steady.
Next is that RCPD expenses paid by Riley County. What I always like to point out to the board that I didn't know, but also to any of the constituents that are watching. All of these expenditures, except for the budget appropriation, are 100% paid by Riley County. Anything that deals with RCPD inmate medical costs and also building and maintenance, Riley County is 100% responsible for. Both Kansas City provides funding for that. I like this next report a little bit better. It shows comparatively 2023 through 2019. Comparatively the annual expenses, you can see each year how physician has gone up, and that corresponds directly with increase in isotropic drugs cost, but then also number of inmates as well. We're at a very high inmate count right now due to things just not getting processed as fast as you would hope they would. So we have more inmates in there. Building maintenance has also gone up quite a bit.
Does that include the shooting range, the building maintenance, that kind of thing?
Yes, it would.
Is there any breakout of what that cost is?
Oh, we could get it. We could get it. Mhm.
Boy, I hope there's not a whole lot of maintenance on that.
Well,
It's only a couple of years old.
Yeah, we get that.
There's probably some upgrades to equipment and
Yeah.
software and stuff, but hopefully not the building itself.
This is mainly the building.
It's all buildings with RCPD. Anything that we would provide for any type of building maintenance that they have, because we're 100% responsible for it. Those buildings are on our insurance policy.
Now, when will the cleanup, will that be in here at some point?
Yeah, there's some amount in there that's been budgeted for it, but it hasn't started yet. It will.
We pay that out of CIP.
CIP?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions, commissioners? Next report is the off-site inmate medical expenses paid by Advanced Correctional Healthcare. As you can see on the pool amount, have exceeded that by almost $19,000. Once again, that's directly tied to the number of inmates that we have. And you can see the average daily population down below, but average daily population is high. We are going to be working on that. RCPD would like some additional nursing care available on weekends and after hours. And so we are going to be working on a contract revision, hopefully with ACH in cooperation with RCPD to help provide some additional service. It will not be inexpensive, though, commissioners. I assure you of that. So.
But it is good to see the population between October and November or in December
Go in the right direction.
go in the right direction. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just a movement within cases I'm hearing and just general.
yeah, that'll help. Yeah, right now they could really use, according to RCPD, 2 full-time nurses, and they have one. He's being very conservative, hoping population will start going down, and we're going to try and get some part-time assistants in there to help with the nursing situation. So we'll see what ACH says and if they're willing to work with us on that. But will not be expensive, and it's always one of those things, commissioners, as you know. And it's gonna talk about notices. People are never happy about taxes, and everyone's paying taxes right now, but there's some other costs going up that, you know, you can't control, but you have to pay for it. And so, one of those things to remember when people are asking why taxes are increasing.
Rich, what line item is the nursing, services? Where is that located now? What, is that in the position, the laboratory? Where is that located?
Should be, I would imagine it's broken out in the position, I would imagine.
Is it?
We can look at that though, we
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what we're spending now and what we're looking for in the future.
Yeah, they had originally given us a quote, for 2 full-time nurses, and I forget what the number was.
It was in the $400,000 range.
Yeah, it was an extremely high increase.
I think it was 442
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Will be something, I believe.
per. That's not for 2, that was per.
Each nurse,
Each
400?
nurse.
No, that was the total. That was increased in the total to 440.
That's
No,
2
it wasn't
nurses.
per nurse.
Are there?
That's a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 full time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a significant increase.
Well, that was
200.
including where we're at right now, plus the increase,
Gotcha.
and that would be the per.
Yeah, so we'll be working on that, trying to keep costs down, but yet providing the services that we're legally required to provide, which is medical care for all inmates.
We can only pay the overage of hours for nursing, so. Like, that's part of our contract, like ACH pays the nurse, but we pay for any overages, and if they call out sick or take vacation days or anything like that, that's what we pay. So I can still get you those, that information, but just wanted you to know that that's not, like, we're not paying her entire salary.
Okay, so that's
in
a
those
service,
lines.
right? It's a contract service.
Well, and the contract amount, we're paying for the total.
Yeah.
Total hours.
Yeah.
And her full cost, we are paying. We are paying
It's in
it
the
to
contract.
ACH. But yeah,
But it's
we
not
don't just
broken
pay the
down.
hours that are overage, but yeah, it's in the total
Okay.
contract. We can get a breakdown from this next time on how much they're attributing to nursing. We can ask for that.
Yeah, I assume that's in the physician.
It is the most expensive part for sure.
That must be most of what the physician is.
Mhm.
That doesn't keep in mind that they do have RCPD personnel providing some of the nursing outside of that scope too, so I'm trying to give prescriptions. Yeah.
Well, they
So that-
they really move,
That's
the
what-
move is away from that.
Well, and see that-
The second
That's
one.
why it's expensive.
Well, but at night, when they don't have the personnel necessary to do that, they still have to provide that, so it's.
No doubt.
As I said, I've been here a long time, and that's really what instigated going to ACH is the police director at that time says, hey, we've got police officers that are handing out prescriptions and pushing around a medical card, and we had no medical professionals there at all, nurses, anything. And so that was when we made that first transition too. And, you know, we went out and did an RFP and did a bid on that. And we think we're a pretty good sized community, but this was actually the only company that would even entertain it for as small of a facility as we are. And so you're really limited, and that was the reason why, because they did not want officers handing out prescriptions and pushing around a medical card. But right now, I mean, they're right. I mean, if someone needs a prescription after hours or something, it's got to be an officer that does it because there's no medical personnel there to do it. And so that's the reason why they need the additional services, because people just don't get sick 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
That's the only nurse that we have covering that right now, so, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's talking about that small, that's what the juvenile center in Junction's having to say, because they're even smaller, trying to find someone that that is
It's hard.
difficult.
It's hard.
They're talking to ACH now.
Yeah. So sorry, commissioners, took part of the main time, and you're up.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
All right, good morning, commissioners, and with that director, I won't need all my time, so that's okay. So this is the grant programs we talked about through KGHG, I believe in November. We talked about this, the level 1 environmental protection program, the LEPP. This is the grant that they have available, $50,000 on into the jurisdiction, county of course, that we will then use to assist low income property owners with repairing and replacing their wastewater systems. So if you recall, KDHE was gracious enough to review our draft applications. I'm really appreciative of them for doing that, because this is my first time with one of these particular grants. There's always little ins and outs that are specific to each one. So she gave me just a little bit of really helpful input. So what I have before you folks is what's intended to be the final application. I can sign it. That will then get submitted to the state. It's due January 30th. So we have a little bit of time, but just wanted to have a big buffer in case there's any concerns. Just again, as a quick reminder, the grant is for both wastewater repair replacement and water testing services. We can do both. We talked last time about just going forward with wastewater repair replacement. Not that water testing is not very important, because it is. However, we're not offering that service right now. Plus, cost impact to homeowners is a lot greater when they're looking at a repair replacement of their system. So we've decided to just go with that offering for folks. The grant period, or I guess the grant period will be June 1 through June 30th. July 1 of this year to June 30th. Thank you. So yes, it will be a full year. So how that'll work, of course, during that time, that's when folks can apply to us. We'll review and issue funding during that period of time. If you recall, most of how we can do this is up to us. There are grant conditions we have to follow that you'll see in your packet. But for the most part, in terms of an application process, deciding who to allocate funding to, how to allocate the funding, kind of size, et cetera, all of that is up to the county. And we talked a little about that last time. We weren't 100% sure with some of it at the time, but we didn't have to be with the draft application, but now we do, of course, and we're submitting for our final application. So what we talked about doing, and again, it's really open to each jurisdiction how they want to do it. So we know of at least a couple, a handful of homeowners who have had systems that need to be repaired actually for quite some time, and what they've told us is they cannot afford to do so. So we are going to work with those folks to get their repairs taken care of. Again, these are ones that have been on the books for a while. So we're just going to have a simple, and this is really not just these folks, but the application process. Just a simple statement of need. We don't want to overcomplicate this. Statement of need, what's the problem, why, what assistance do you need to fix it? Have you gotten bids, things like that, just so we kind of know what the situation is, what kind of financial assistance they're looking for. And then we will ask for documentation of income, proof of income, so we can be sure that we are following KDHE's rules about income level and how we can help them, because there is a bit of a threshold, 85% for a certain level and up to 100% for a more low income. So we want to ensure that we're assisting correctly and properly. So we will ask for that information. Again, we're going to try to keep it really simple, but again, have that information so we know who needs what, and we can assist it accordingly. So we will start with those handful of folks that are on our list that have had failures for some time. There's a couple that need repairs. Nobody at this point that we know of, not only needs replacement, but those folks do some repairs. So we'll work directly with them. The other thing we were thinking about is, as we receive failures, repair permits, pumping reports, usually we find those failures with the pumping reports. We can reach out to those folks, let them know that we have this potential funding source and how to go about requesting some assistance. We'll of course advertise on our website and social media, put up some posters on planning and development.
I think the biggest one that we'll do is let our contractors know about this opportunity, because they're really kind of the front line with folks, if you will. They're the ones out there pumping the systems. They're the ones, of course, letting them know, hey, there's something X, Y, and Z wrong with your tank or whatnot. Here's what you'll need to do. And they're the ones who get told a lot of the time, well, I can't afford that. What do I do? So having them out there in the field working directly with the property owners to let them know, hey, there's this resource. If you want to talk to the county, I think that will be really helpful. And then ultimately how it'll work is there will be no exchange of fundings with the property owner. How it'll work is the contractor will submit their bill to us. Essentially, we'll pay the contractor. It won't be something where we give the money to the homeowner and then they, have to do that. Just kind of, and that's just how ADG essentially tells us we have to do it. And that just makes it easier than we're just contractor their people. So. Let's see. So that's kind of how we're going to do advertising, if you will, and letting people know about the funding, and then also our application process. So in terms of determining how much each person gets, we talked about this a little bit last time, and it's a tough line because, of course, the more we can give a homeowner, the probably the better shot that the system will get fully fixed. We might only give somebody 50%, well, that other 50% might still be too much for them to handle, and then it's not getting fixed anyway. But then on the flip side, if we give every applicant that, our first 5 applicants, if you will 100%, that might be everything, and then we can help fewer people. But we also don't want to give too little, because we don't want to give money back to the state at the end of this. We want to use every cent to help people that we can. So how we're going to apply for it, and what they said at Katie is up to the jurisdiction, and really in our application, we just kind of provide some ideas, and we can kind of work it with them. But really, it's probably best to do it kind of on a case by case. What's the situation? What's the repair? Is it a repair? Is it a replacement? As you can probably imagine, a replacement's going to be a lot more expensive. And determine is what kind of system we're dealing with. Is it just a tank? Is it the entire system? And really, what is that particular homeowner's situation? Some are probably going to need a little bit more help than others for a variety of reasons. So probably doing it on a case by case basis is a little bit better, quote unquote, rather than just saying, okay, we're going to give everybody 50%, we're going to give everybody this or that. So we kind of tailor our help that way. So really, hopefully, at the end of the grant period, we helped as many people as possible, and we've spent every cent of the $50,000. That is our intention. So, let's see. So I think I've covered everything. Do you have any questions? And sorry, before of course, I'll answer questions, but we, as per the grant requirements, we will have to, of course, inspect the system, which we do anyway, so that's not an additional task on us by any means. But we'll also have to develop an agreement with each landowner just to make sure we need to operate, do O&M operation and maintenance on the system, coming every 5 years, et cetera, all of that stuff. So the agreement will be just a tiny bit more work, not significant by any means, but we already inspect and ensure the system is split properly. So that will be added to our case. So, any questions or comments on that?
I'm surprised the number of contractors we have
Yeah.
in the county that do that. I assume there are a couple, but there's quite a list there.
Yeah, we do have a lot of licensed contractors. We have a handful that do all systems, all of our standard, alternative, and wastewater ponds, lagoons. And then some of them maybe just do standard or just do a pond or that kind of thing. But we do have a
good number of them.
Yeah. And there's a handful that we work on a more regular basis. Yeah, we do have a lot that see.
I don't have anything. These questions. I'd move to direct staff to submit a formal LEPP grant application to KDHE.
Second that.
So moved and seconded on a recommendation. This direct staff to submit a formal LEPP grant application to KDHE. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Amanda. Next, Commissioner, you have press conference at 9:30. I have the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. proclamation, then we have the addition of Anna Burson with an announcement.
Letter, so you have a little bit of time maybe to look at it during the break and shorten the time I need at the end of the meeting. Sir, you bet. But really, it's you have lots of stuff interesting. No, that's still going on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just in case, yeah.
That's just make it so I don't think typing is loose.
Oh, sure. I just know. Yeah, I'll send it to you in Word. And I think it's rather than press release, should have been immediate press release.
Yeah, I'll check. So it's all posted also.
I just wondered.
Yeah.
We are at 9:30, so it's time for press conference.
Yeah.
Nancy. Okay. Press conference, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no problem. Didn't mean to step on it.
Okay, we're ready for the press conference this morning. I don't know if Suzanne or Kevin or both.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Barrel.
Okay, so good to see you guys here this morning as usual. Well, it's a good time of the year. I'll start with the proclamation and I'll let you guys talk and update us on what's going on around the community for the event. Does that sound good? Okay. So proclamation for Dr. Martin Luther King federal holiday states as follows, whereas January 15th, 2024 marks the observance of Martin Luther King Jr. federal holiday and service day established by public law number 98-144 in 1983. And whereas this King Holiday and Service Act highlights remembrances and celebrations and encourages people everywhere to reflect on the principles of nonviolent social change, racial equality, community and humanitarian service, and interracial cooperation. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, opportunity for all, and challenged all Americans to participate in the never-ending work of building a more perfect union. And whereas celebrating Dr. King's life and spirit through community-wide recognitions and services on King Holiday is an appropriate way to honor Dr. King, bringing our citizens together and strengthen our communities and nation. And whereas it's appropriate for Riley County to support a community celebration and observance of King Holiday and Day of Service honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas each one of us can and must contribute to making our communities better with increased opportunity for all citizens. And now, therefore, we as county commissioners of Riley County do hereby proclaim that's January 13th and 20th, 2023. I think that needs to be 24 now. No? Okay.
24, yes.
Yeah, it's saying 23 on here, and I think
But the
we're in
13th
24. Okay. The dates are right, but not the year. Okay.
Correct.
So, okay, 24. I figure we're on the right year. Okay. In Riley County and Kansas, and urge all people to join and pay tribute to the life and works of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and apply his life and teachings of service to inspire others to serve and remember his spirit of community. It witness wherefore of we have unto set our hands and caused the seal of January to be affixed to this Monday, January 8th, 2024. So, yes, if you guys like to come up and say a few words and certainly update us on everything that's going on, because I know you guys work hard on this throughout the year.
Thank you, commissioners. Always happy to be here and spread the word about the Manhattan Martin Luther King Committee and what the city of Manhattan, the county's doing. We have these proclamations are an important part of all of that, acknowledging the King Day and the events that we're going to do. The 13th, we're using the MAC this year, which is a very welcome place to do, and plus it'll be easier parking, especially if there's a snowstorm. We have Dr. Janella Holmes as our speaker. We are going to do a art writing contest this year. We'll have a Spirit Award winner, which will be a very good surprise. And thinking in context of our theme, it's always right, the time is always right to do the right thing. So thank you. Thanks, Suzanne.
Kevin, and both of you could just state your name for the press.
My name is Kevin Bryant. I'm the chair of the Manhattan Martin.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Gleemore, and I am the coordinator of the art and writing contest for the Martin Luther King Memorial Committee. Well, Kevin kind of covered it, but I want to encourage you to just envision how amazing this is going to be at the Manhattan Arts Center this year, because the Arts Center is coordinating the exhibit, which is always free for the public, with the MLK Community Celebration. So there's an exhibit of African American quilts there for a whole month. The unveiling, so the reception, all of that will be the community celebration. And Striking House in the West has graciously agreed to frame the children's artwork. So those will also be on exhibit for a month. And I can tell you, having looked at the essays and the art, it is worth coming to see. And I know that that is also true for the quilts. They are spectacular. So please come and join us on the 13th for the celebration. And then come and spend time in the next month at the Arts Center. Thank you. May I get a picture? Yes.
No need to hold. Let me snap a couple of photos. I don't go to the team.
Okay, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're holding up a little high.
Yeah.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. I like to take a look. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll definitely stop by and see those quilts. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see you again. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioner. I'll make this really quick. Anna Burson with the Riley County Appraiser's Office. I just wanted to let the public know that the 2024 personal property renditions were mailed on December 29th. The notices are not bills or valuation notices, but under Kansas statute, we do require a signature return to our office by March 15th to avoid penalties. This is just acknowledging that you still own the personal property, or if you no longer own that property, just follow those instructions on that. Owners of manufactured homes, please note the prior year value listed on the rendition is inaccurate due to the system conversion. The 2024 value will be listed on your notice of value, which is mailed in May. Postage paid envelopes were included for your convenience. And again, it's important to sign the form, update any changes, and return it to our office by the deadline. If you have questions relating to the prior year value or the notices, please feel free to contact our office at 785-537-6310. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm running a few minutes behind still, Julie, but we'll come up and we need a motion as well.
Excuse me. Voice is going away. I move to recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as Board of Health.
Second that.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commission and then reconvene as the Board of County Health. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good morning.
Morning.
It'll be fast because you're back on schedule. I'm here to request approval to temporarily change your position description. This is Shanika Rose's position. She's our health educator / accreditation specialist. So we've, after much discussion with Shanika and with Elizabeth, we've decided this is the best move to put the two programs under Shanika. These are two part-time programs. It's the new DEC coordinator, our drug endangered children coordinator, who actually just started this morning with us. That is a part-time position. And we also have our community health educator, who used to work with us on the substance use prevention education. So putting those two positions under Shanika makes good sense because of the titles correlate, and also because these two individuals are going to work very closely together with their education and training, and many of the same partners that they'll work with. Shanika's also had some supervisory experience in past positions, so she was good for this position. And I will say this is going to be temporary based on the fact that these are grants, so they could go away after their time, but hopefully we'll be able to continue that. We do have some funds through the workforce development funding that we've obtained through KDHE. That came down through federal, went through the state, 40% went down to health departments. They divvied that out based on social vulnerability index and population. Our amount was a little over 159,000. That is to go toward continuing education for our staff. However, I did get permission from Brandy Frey at KDHE that we can, that little amount that we will need to pay extra for Shanika to enhance this position can come out of that fund, those funds. So I think I listed the total there, extra that we had not budgeted for this year. Again, that will come from the workforce development funds. Does that cover anything?
So does the position change if the funding then changes?
So the position itself isn't actually changing. What's changing is the responsibility of being a supervisor to these other two programs. And so for our pay policy, when one moves from non-supervisor to supervisory roles, there's a 7% pay increase because, as we know, supervising others is the most difficult part of the job. Our thought, Julie's, and we haven't met with Shanika together yet, is that she will really be able to make this a community, not necessarily a division, it's three people, right? But they will have that focus together because she's a community educator. The other two part-time positions are community educators with specialized focus. And so they all really have the same purpose. So this $7,100 is that it's slightly over 7%, but it's on a pay scale in the rates. But that actually, if it Julie scrolls down, I think we have the agreement. What it is she would be, she would sign this. It's attached. Yeah, well, yeah, yes, there you go. So she signed this where it's basically laid out that she understands that if we would lose grant funding or otherwise terminate those temporary positions, then she would no longer be a supervisor and that pay would then go down. Her job would continue because her job is a permanent position. And we have done this. It's actually something that's been in our policies for a while. So usually when someone steps in, if we have like a manager leave or if someone is sick for a very long period of time and another person stays into that role and takes that on, then they also take on a temporary pay increase for those duties. And to be totally transparent, and I think you all know, if everything goes well with these two programs, which Julie's intention is to come back to the commissioners and ask for the OPM funding again in 25. And we've got the deck coordinator for 2 years and the grant, we will continue to ask for that grant. You know, it just depends how those programs go, whether they're funded.
I've looked at some other health departments, how they structure things. I just did a little research on my own and came across Shawnee County's website. They have a whole health education, health promotion division. So kind of looking at that as a model. They have a coordinator that's in charge of that, and they actually have a request form online so you can request a presentation for your organization. So I'm kind of hoping to move toward that direction if all goes well.
And I think one of the biggest goals, at least what I understood, the commissioners and the health department's biggest goal is to move these small grant funded programs out of Julie's direct oversight. Shanika would take over the responsibility of ensuring that these programs are meeting their goals, which I think is important.
Now will this, since she's moving to a supervisor position, will she be reporting to us like your other supervisors do, like on, like a monthly, whatever basis?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I usually include her in my reports and yeah, she
will report on these programs.
Yeah, so not much will change in that way because she was reporting to me anyway and yeah.
And she reports to us once a year and
Once a year.
maybe twice a year.
Once a year.
Once a year.
Okay.
Would be temporary, you're gonna take it away from her in 2 years.
Maybe, yeah, that's the way our policy.
I'm not liking that idea either, but
I doubt that. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and we have done it. I mean, we have had people move into a role and then the role was filled or went away. It has happened.
Not for 2 years. That's usually been for a few months, hasn't it?
Well, I think 8 or 9 months was the longest in my, like, that I can remember, looking at your things. Sometimes it has been extended, that's extension, but yeah, I mean, that'll depend on you, I suppose, or on that commission, I suppose.
There is more in the way of community health educators, community, you hear more of them, ever since the pandemic. So, I anticipate more funding coming down from the state, more grant opportunities. So I'll continue to look for those.
And there may be new things we need to work on too.
Sure.
That we move forward with other grants.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, and Greg, I do see your point. I mean, I don't know, I'm not.
It's not the position, it's the person in the position. I mean, I know Shanika pretty well.
Well,
I think she's got to understand that, but I mean, you take on a role like that, and then all of a sudden it's gone and pay and benefits and compensation that come along with it's gone.
I mean, we've been extremely clear and she'll sign off on it and we'll discuss it. So I don't think it'll be a surprise, but I mean, she's human, obviously, anyone would feel that effect. I guess I don't know if you have other suggestions on how to move somebody into this kind of extended responsibility, because it's a big difference when you move from your own program to managing other people.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's the reason for the policy and the process is how do we, and I will say, don't get me wrong, Shanika did not take this because she knew there was an increase. Julie actually didn't mention that at all. Julie had that, and I don't think we had discussed it, and so Julie didn't even remember that there was that policy, which I think is important. Shanika had concerns at the beginning, wanted to know how it would be managed, wanted to know the publicity of it, and how that would affect her programming, her time, all legitimate questions.
Well, what about her? I mean, does she have supervisory background? I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't for sure of that, because you're gonna, I wouldn't say throw somebody into that position necessarily. I mean, they gotta have some experience at background, because yeah, it's the toughest thing you do. I mean, it really is, so.
She does. And she also has experience managing people that she doesn't have direct supervisory experience, purview. She's done a lot with like coalitions and public groups, which I'll be honest, that's a kind of management that's completely different, because she doesn't have any authority to manage, but she has to corral that whole group and get them moving in the direction. She's very skilled in that area.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the temporary supervision responsibilities added to the current health educator role.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to go ahead with the temporary supervisory responsibilities added to the current health educator role. Are those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Need a motion, Commissioners?
Yes, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Say, I would make a motion to recess as a Board of Health and reconvene as a Board of County Commissioners.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor? Aye.
Three for David.
Go ahead, David.
Morning, Commissioners. David Adams, CMS Ambulance Director. I'm here to request to fill an open position. We had a full-time paramedic who resigned to go PRN. So which opens up a paramedic position. But as we've done in the past, we do have an EMT, current full-time employee, long-term employee who's in a paramedic school. And we've been successful with this, knock on wood. We've done this twice before, where we've held a paramedic position for one of our current employees who was in school, versus going out and trying to recruit somebody from the outside. So that's what we're asking to do. So this is a full-time budgeted position, paramedic position. So there's no adverse effects to our budgets. And if you'll see,
Can you up with me if it is a full-time paramedic or you're actually asking us to?
it's a full-time paramedic position that is budgeted.
Right.
And I'm asking to fill a full-time EMT position to move this person into that just hold them in that paramedic slot. So, I'll show you what, as you've seen this document before. So this is what we're wanting to do. So, this person is an EMT, will be till the end of the year. But, it is a long time, but, there's two reasons why we like doing this. One, it's somebody internal, somebody who we know that's invested in our department. And then, two, it's budgetarily, it's easier for us because we hardly, we're not having to recruit someone, bring them in. If we can find a paramedic, paramedics are incredibly hard to find right now. Find somebody to bring them in that meets our standards, that we have to train and such. So doing it internally, is really a win for us. We call it growing our own.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if they did get their paramedic and it's already in a position, they're gonna be looking somewhere else.
Then we're gonna lose them. And, this is, and we're careful with who we do this with. We don't just, if this was something I had concerns about, then I wouldn't be doing it. But this is a long-term employee, he's actually a legacy employee. His mom worked for us and worked with me when I was a captain here. And, so,
To address John's concern about being here, it is a long time.
It is.
There's not, most departments, we really wouldn't do that. That's a long time to hold, but Josh and David have a really good system of their operating, the way that they manage their operation. They're gonna be able to cover the hours that we need covered and the services we need covered with the current staffing. And so we're not really holding, there won't be an unfilled position. We will be filled with numbers, but we won't be filling as paramedic. Does that make sense? So they're not actually saying to leave an open position for a year.
Right.
They're gonna kind of put a body into it.
Thank you. So his position, this is what is the one we're talking about. We'll fill his EMT position here, move him down into a paramedic position. But with our staffing, with our minimum staffing guidelines and such, we're comfortable we can do this. So we've done it twice here just in the last year. And then we have another one he's finished his first part of his boards. He's going to take the second part of his boards. So it's been successful for us. We've been able to make it work and not have open positions within our department.
It also creates a cultural norm where you know that you have career growth within EMS.
Which is a very big point. When we hire these young people who come in to work for you, they're always wanting to advance. They don't want to sit still. They don't want to sit stagnant within their position, whether it's the scope of their care that they're able to provide, but then also obviously, salaries. So,
Put money into giving that training and education too.
They do. So,
To me, the
absolutely.
simplified request is basically he has X number of paramedic slots and X number of EMT. He just wants to ask you if he can fill one of the paramedic spots. They have to go over on EMT and run one short on paramedic. So budget wise, where he'll spend less money, ideally, and then career wise, we'll leave a spot open for this person to grow into, but we won't go over the number of staffing.
Correct.
It's just the slotted positions would change.
So then you'll need to hire an EMT, so you're gonna come back, approve this, then you'll be back next
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Open
we've already
EMT
done a
position.
hiring process for the one that we
Oh.
did that just a few weeks ago. So we already have somebody in mind for that. But I can't put the cart before the horse because then Elizabeth gets mad at me. So
We need to make
yes.
sure we have a slot to put it with. But he did just advertise, they went through a whole interview process. The person meets the standards for an EMT position.
Mhm.
So he won't be back necessarily unless you.
Once this is approved, we'll be back to hire this person.
No, we do a free sheet, yeah.
That is.
Let's see, where to go.
The recommendation.
So I guess, move to approve, to fill this position. To move the EMT to temporary.
Position of an EMT instead of a
Go,
paramedic.
position as EMT temporarily.
It's, EMT. It's
Just fill this position, EMT position. We'll find the EMT position. Yeah,
Okay, just fill the EMT position.
Thank you. Yes.
Second.
I think we made it complicated because we wanted you to understand why we were
Yeah.
asking for less current.
No, I understand.
There's nothing here that's not complicated.
Right,
No,
it's not, it's not, it makes sense to me, but I live in that world.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth is here to help me
Which is
explain.
better place.
That doesn't say a lot.
Management, staff.
Yes.
Okay, well, on that, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and fill a budgeted full-time EMT position. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All three sign, please.
Lost that one.
Next, Commissioner Shelley Woodard at 10.
When you get the chance, we'll put him and have him update that chart. He's got to, and get that to us, so at least we're updating on it.
Yeah, so you know where the spots are.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, they keep it. There's a lot of.
Down there is what?
You like that little, do you like the little paragraph in there, Clancy? Like, we have in no way
Yeah.
committed. I did, David, oh my gosh, you got at least like.
Yeah, I did.
There's a fancy paragraph in.
No, that's a lie.
It's all like, I knew that our flags were going out.
Air is dry. I've been feeling that too. The air is dry.
Yeah, no.
Not a lot of humidity in
It's
there.
really snowing now.
That's it.
Yeah. Pretty wet.
Oh, boy, it is.
Yeah, snow, huh?
Holy cow.
Oh, that's.
Smells as fast as it's coming down.
Not
It
sticking
should
any.
be. with-
Yeah, I can see that. That's good.
City Vice Chair for that.
Of course, there's like 5
This
inches
one
of
not?
rain out there.
I
I mean,
I can copy
Take
that.
what?
So maybe it is.
Speaking at my house.
It just says, chairperson.
So
Vice
they can either
chairperson.
write it in
Huh?
there, or so you can either use that one, I can write it in. the-
so I'm sure you're having fun, aren't you?
Assuming I heard
John?
it correctly.
I
it's
am.
fine. I printed it last week.
We can just leave it with what we've got because it has just their titles. And we've got multiple.
When I came down here, they had a truck.
And well, when you were good to go.
Yep.
North.
Yeah, it's like.
No problem.
Yeah.
North is gonna get it bad, and they're gonna be up north all night.
It's supposed to be a pocket. It's supposed to be Washington, Marshall, Northern Bradley County that gets it. I don't know.
Looks like I'm right about on the line.
Yeah,
Boy,
very southern end of it, yeah.
right. I followed. What did we get that last, was that Thursday?
Friday.
Friday. I followed the sand truck home. When that Anderson slows you down, listen. But he was good. Like I say, he went out Anderson and then on a 24, then he was gonna do it. Looks like he's gonna do Kansas through, but he pulled off and saw him behind. He pulled over and let me, let cars go by because he could see he was slowing down traffic. So
I don't know, I like sitting behind them. That way, at least I have some track.
No one's gonna, that, and no one's gonna head on you on that.
yeah. There's one little straight section on Anderson, the tailfield took off and tried to pass. And I, no, I'm fine. I'm sit right here.
So this one's in the sevens of the state.
You have guys out all night?
We don't seem to do that here. I think we do as much as we can. I think it might keep people later tonight to make sure people get home. About 7 o'clock, make sure most everybody gets to where they're going after work, and then they'll be out early in the morning.
Saw K-State closed after 3 today.
That's what David was saying.
I heard that first thing this morning. That surprised me. I was surprised how many local schools closed this morning. Randolph, Rock Creek.
Rock Creek, Wamego, Omega, most of Pop counties.
Mhm.
Closed over. Yeah, I'm sure they were just concerned about getting the kids home. If they got them here, got them. And it did get to.
We were surprised, kind of surprised at how many of them did it last night already.
Yeah.
Especially we don't have as many of those days to spend through the year and it's early.
Well, the school year's on, so. I mean, we're halfway through it. They didn't use any,
We went from something like 13 to 8 or something.
yeah.
What? They cut down the number.
Yeah.
So it's,
Of course, I guess that's because they can do a virtual model or something to make up for it too. Some school districts, maybe not all.
Somebody can extend the day.
Yeah.
we're noticing Garden City closed early last night.
And like a lot of schools would just try to make it to the half day, because you make it to that half day, it counts as a whole day if you get let out early. So that can happen too.
Yeah, but what amount of half day cause problems with that?
Oh, it's Darnell says it, as Jan would know, it's a mess getting kids out of there and
Yeah,
picked up. And
there's nobody.
I think it's worse.
it is.
Yeah. Better off the whole day than half.
I'm just thinking, it's been easier.
Hey, teen's usually the one that becomes problematic.
Yeah, Kendra says it's completely covered.
Yeah,
No,
don't go off of that though.
Yeah,
we've always
I
noticed,
look at the cameras a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
we've always
better.
noticed from here, Riley, taking Anderson's better because we do a better job keeping
Yeah.
Anderson than the state does,
Yeah.
keeping 24.
You gotta
Oh, by
remember,
far.
there's parts of it that's elevated. So a day like today where you've had rain, it's gonna freeze first before
Oh,
everything else
yeah.
does on top of it. So. Yeah.
They were just saying Council Grove has got quite a bit.
Huh.
So
We're county,
we're gonna get more. You know?
our county crews do a great job.
Yeah.
You ready for?
Yeah, we are. Go ahead, Shelley.
Good morning, commissioners. So this is a resolution just updating our parking enforcement. So since the last resolution, we have acquired additional parking lots. This adds those to our parking enforcement resolution. And then it will allow the clerk's office to purchase new ticket books and get those out so that we can enforce our parking regulations. Do you have any questions?
So we enforce
go
the
ahead.
parking.
We issue the tickets on our parking lot. Mhm.
I know there's one outside, but even the other, I mean,
Yeah, that one over there and up front and this back one and the one across the street,
kind of across.
where all the county vehicles are.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I was wondering where the new ones were.
Is that?
Yeah, I
Just the
didn't.
new one. It's the new one, the one.
What new ones do
county
we
vehicles
have?
are.
So it was before my time, but it was, so I think we had half of a street that we now kind of have the whole thing. Rich, she was asking which new ones that we have. I think that actually happened before I got here. I just.
The newest one is the one next to the law offices. We'd actually had that one before that. The one over there where the county vehicles are, the one where the commissioners park, we bought that. That was the last parking lot that we purchased.
Oh,
Okay.
But we have the one next to the law offices.
That little narrow one where you guys park.
Mhm.
That's all, that's the
the
county's,
newest one.
Both
that's
sides.
county's land.
They're just the ones.
No, the big square area is
Big.
city parking lot. Where most of the employees park.
Okay.
How many tickets? Do we write a lot of tickets?
Fair amount, and biggest violators are these back here on the
Right,
department
right,
heads
right.
because of the
Right.
apartments.
Yeah.
Everyone, what we end up having more trouble with than anything is employees and they're running in front of our building. We never have to, staff doesn't spend time monitoring. It's based on complaint basis and employees watch employees.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't spend time, but Lori and Joe generally are the ones that issue those tickets when we have to give a ticket.
There's been a few times where those tickets have been paid for in other means like cookies and brownies and things like that.
Yeah, nothing else changed, like, so the amount of the tickets and that's all staying the same here, so the only thing that changes the lot descriptions.
And years ago, it used to be very minimal, like $5 or so, but when we increased it more substantially, people were not frequent violators after that, and that was the whole reason for it. Have it hurt a little bit.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, I move the board approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution as presented on parking lot enforcement. All those in favor?
All three sign, please.
Thank you.
Greg or Catherine, which one of you made that motion?
Great.
Okay.
We're confusing you because we're going back and forth.
I just didn't pay close enough attention.
Should be recognizing my growls.
Yeah, between you and me, I tell you.
I've got some of it, but
Well, you're doomed between the two of us.
Yeah.
My suggestion, just develop a growl.
Yeah, I just don't worry about it. I knew what the heck, we've had so many fallen in the office, of various ailments. I knew my turn would come. Inevitable.
I'm still trying to figure out Thursday. I don't.
Those combination, like you
I
said.
probably owe maintenance a card or something. It was bad.
Rich, I just got a text that Pot County is closing their offices at 1 o'clock today.
Really?
Yeah.
Being up in Westmoreland, that probably makes sense.
You know, I have a little bit better, like, water boots that I wear with my suit sometime in this weather. And I looked at them this morning, and after I got to my truck and got out of my truck, I wished I would have put them on this morning because I didn't.
yeah, these
I
things are
walked
really
out.
clunky, but they're pretty. good.
Yeah.
I walked out and it was raining at a pretty good clip, but I didn't realize how much. So I got to the parking lot and it was a pond. And I thought,
Waiting through the park.
yeah, I'm like, whoa, that doesn't happen very often.
I've already told staff for tomorrow, jeans and snow boots for tomorrow. I wish I'd have said something this morning, but I didn't realize how heavy the water would be.
What's going on out there? Maybe some more work?
That really
Uh,
core was,
I did see a machine over there, I thought it or something, but I only glanced at it.
have you heard from Mac on the phone location?
We're
On the,
just planning on moving.
yeah, I don't, that's the same.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, it just
Well, I mean,
creates
we're gonna have to
problems for.
do that. I've left a message for Brian, but I haven't heard back. So
Just
he'll probably
causes-
be around now that she sections.
Causes congestion at the polling places is the problem, you know, that's. Two.
Neighbors aren't gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, what year, I forget what year it was, we got raked over like coals for long lines, it was. I think it was 2004.
Oh, 4.
Oh, yeah.
It was 04.
Yeah, those national issues,
Yeah.
long lines, you know,
Um,
and we did have long lines, but.
Wasn't that when it was snowing too?
It was raining.
Was
that
it
night, pretty
raining? You
good.
saw it. There was one.
But down here at the senior center, I mean, they had a line stretching out pretty, that's where I was voting at. They was stretching pretty long, but somehow they misinterpreted, I guess who was voting or something, because there's a large amount of apartments and stuff down here to take into consideration how many people were there and actually voting or something. So
Yeah,
a couple of different problems contained within it, but
and here's what we say in our profession now, given the tenor of election concerns, don't we wish long lines was our problem? No.
Yeah.
well, I think that was one of the things that came out of that was early and advanced voting.
Mhm.
And so that certainly has helped, particularly
Oh, no doubt. That's
in the
why,
midterm and presidential elections.
that's why I push advanced voting, because just like Catherine was talking to me, we're gonna lose one of our polling places, you know, just a few blocks away from here. And so then we gotta consolidate that into one or two other polling places. And, you know, we have limited size rooms that they give us, so we only put up so many machines. We can't do it based on the number of machines we necessarily need and limited parking. And so it just puts us in a real conundrum, and that's why I really push advanced voting to help alleviate congestion at polling places.
That's what I remember one time when they just switched the voting age from 21 to 18 for the next election. They had lines there because they had so many more people with 72, I think, was that election. Presidential election.
Come on, Bruce.
Change that one.
How you doing?
And they said it's at 7 o'clock.
Soggy?
Everybody, they had to cut off, just push everybody in the building.
We'll take it. We need the moisture.
Nobody get in line from there, but it's.
Now they put somebody to stand there, right?
Yeah.
And
It was.
That's right. That hasn't changed. It's still 21. Oh, sure, 18.
Yeah, that's no problem. I talked about moving it to 16. Well, I just don't think you're gonna get any more participation out of it.
For what?
If you moved it to 16, there was talk a couple of years
16 what?
ago about moving the voting age to 16. There was a brief discussion about it.
It needs to be moved up to 30. That's a different.
Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me.
That was like.
Let's come in, let's see what question for that. A couple of times, a couple of cities have changed for their city elections.
Yeah.
Back east, I thought some.
I'm sorry.
I'm not so for sure 18 is right. Yeah. 25 maybe.
Maybe 35.
When your insurance comes down, maybe that's the time you're supposed to, I don't know.
Yeah.
When you start paying a mortgage.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Rent.
You don't mind.
Ready for Mr. Ellerman?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, John.
Thank you. Good morning, John Ellerman, Public Works, with my monthly update projects. First few, not much movement on. Fancy Creek Bridge has started. They took a little bit of break over Christmas and New Year's, but they were out there last week. The guys were heading out or had the pickup started this morning, but I'm really kind of not there. Although these bridge guys, they work in
They go.
anything and everything, so I wouldn't be surprised they're not out there. They were supposed to be getting ready to pull a pier today, maybe, so. Hopefully we don't let that happen today, but. They're getting close to at least one. I think we're just trying to find work to do until we get all their dirt work done and excavating done, but they have been working on a pier. Working with Benish on a parallel road. He's getting ready to want to bid that. Working on sending bid packets out here next week or so. And then Marlatt Road improvement from Denison to Browning. I got a contract from Benish that I've been through. I talked to them about some things that I wanted to see changed, and then I'll be sending it over to Clancy. I've got a memo of understanding drafted up. I want to make sure I got everything I want covered. I'll send that over to Clancy to partner with the city to do the trail sidewalk through there. They want a sidewalk from the continued sidewalk from Denison to Browning, and they'd also like to push a little sidewalk up to Tataracks. And then kind of get Tataracks tied into the city trail system. It'd be 10 foot. Looks like right now we want 10 foot along Marlatt, and then a 5 foot piece from Browning to Tataracks. But those would be stuff, who pays for what, that'd be a city piece and.
10 foot along the way between Browning and Denison?
Yeah.
Is that what it already is from?
Right, and that's what they consider the trail, is the 10 foot.
Oh, okay.
The 10 foot path for biking and walking and stuff.
So would that be from Tataracks and Browning be 10 foot or?
5.
5 foot, okay.
That won't be part of the trail system, it's just give access, access to. I believe that's fine. I mean, that's the city's decision, that's their request, so that's how approach that, and then see. Our share, their share of design and construction project. And so last few weeks, though, with holidays, we kind of slow. Parks crews have been trimming trees, cleaning up landscape beds. Today they're out.
I don't think it's gonna be slow for a while.
Afternoon and tomorrow morning, getting ready for when the snow's gone.
Snowmageddon,
What's that?
Snowmageddon.
We'll see. We'll see.
We got 2 rounds.
It's getting heavier out there.
Worst part is it's gonna be cold the rest of the week,
Yeah.
so that's not gonna help this go away at all very fast.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's warm now, but it freezes underneath, then you get snow on top of it and
Right, and then that makes it bad for.
We got a lot of rain all at once. That's my concern.
So any retreat that was out on the highways before is not more stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Same with operations, snow removal. They were doing some ditch cleaning and culvert cleaning, some small structure repairs, inspections. Gravel crew been grading and rocking roads. The bridge crew has pretty much finished up in the elections office, or the election
Storage.
equipment down still here. The electricians are here today, it looks like. And so pretty soon they'll be set to go. Move their new equipment in or spread out some more or however they're doing with that.
They've done a great job with that. Appreciate their work on it.
And then later on, we have stuff for the 4th floor remodel. Alvin's been anxious to do the sweet precast. The structure has been made. It's sitting in the McPherson concrete yard waiting for us to tell us when we're ready. That's a tricky road for him. It's decent road up to the structure, but after that it's dirt. So he wanted to make sure everybody has to weigh in and out when they close the road to do the structure, that they're not necessarily all muddy roads and they can't get out. So they have a way out, it's just not good roads after that. So open positions, have an operator 2 position, unless I didn't update that. And we just, our traffic control tech started this morning. We seems like not much movement on University Park right now. Terracon was out middle of December to do some more drilling. Have the drilling's been done or coring's been done, found maybe preliminary decent place, thin rock layer that we can get breakthrough and get some decent soil underneath. We haven't received a full report yet. But then that will make a big difference on our design, where we can put the beach. And these are all on University Park, approved property. And so we maybe won't have to pay for it. Headquarter stations moving slow. VHS has all the bids in, and we're supposed to meet the 17th about going over those bids. Lecture room work is complete. Working on design yet for this 4th floor. Township meeting is scheduled for March 6th. Trying to work on a purple wave sale. And Evan's been working on a new water contract for University with Real Water Division. That's all I have for an update, unless you have any questions for me.
You might, while you're here, just give us a little update on where we're at on potential snow removal, what the plan is.
Plan was plot.
We have everything we need, right?
Well, yeah, we should have everything we need. We're all loaded up with salt. And so we have, like, we're mixing salt and sand this year again. for the most part. Maybe a few spots where it's just pure salt, but we're mixing. That helps give you some traction, especially now when we get some frozen stuff underneath that get some traction to the salt that's can work. Too cold, it won't. It won't, so. Yeah, the guys are out. When I on my way down here, they were pulling a couple trucks out. Looks like we're gonna have the most problem up north.
We doing any pre-treating on bridges or?
No, we don't, and we didn't this time for sure. Every once in a while, he might go out and throw some salt. One, salt don't stay in place without something there to hold it, and two, as much rain as we had, it wouldn't last that long. So now we just have to get out and treat.
And it's gonna be a tricky storm timing wise for you guys.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think he might planning on maybe holding some guys in where instead of letting them go at 4, holding them in here to about 7. To make sure some of our main routes are somewhat clear and then to get people home. And then send our guys home and bring it back out at 4 o'clock. Our typical schedule would be
4 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Work from 4 to 10, 2 different crews, a day crew and a night crew. And not really be real follow.
Is it the same guys I contact?
Brad and Alvin and Jason.
Mhm.
But Brad first, Brad and Alvin.
Okay.
Okay, we ready for
Yeah, go ahead, John.
So when on the 23rd, commission approved Bruce McMillan Architects to develop a design concept and an estimated budget for the 4th floor remodel of this building. And since that's been done, we accepted the concept, and Rich and Susan have approved what they showed. So now we're ready to get into the design. So what you, and I not put that in your packet?
It was not.
Apologize for that. So what it is an amendment to the contract we signed before, which then adds some of the information that we had struck out before. Now it's put back into the contract with an estimate for design. That estimate is $49,500, and that does include the original $10,000 that was approved in October.
So we're only taking another
39,500
out of that CIP amount. Okay.
And the documents really clear, that's what that is.
Okay.
So since is this gonna be John now?
Yeah, he'll sign it. We just have to cross through that.
Okay, because I
This
didn't.
time of year
since it
catches
was-
everyone. We got a new chairperson today,
I didn't know since it was December 28th,
Yeah.
if I still had.
but we're gonna approve it today.
Okay,
Yeah, I missed
you want to see this?
the changeover.
Yeah.
It catches everyone by surprise, just like the new year.
It's here and gone.
I think this catches more people by surprise.
It wasn't the usual parade.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
There wasn't fanfare.
Not in my house.
There was no confetti, no red carpet. I was a little disappointed, actually.
Yeah. There's no cookies left.
Yeah. No
Yeah, staff
Pop-Tarts.
recommends.
Yeah, no Pop-Tarts left. There you go.
Sorry, staff recommends approval of amendment number 1 for the design of the 4th floor courthouse plazas.
So that, what was it, 585 or something, that estimate that we looked at the other day, that included the architect's fees.
Yes, the CIP.
The CIP
Yeah.
approved that.
The CIP you approved included architect fees, construction, roof and water permit.
That included the engineer or the architects.
Yes.
So
Correct.
that's in there. Okay. Well, let's see.
It seems like a lot. I'm sorry for this.
I know.
Architect fees just.
Messages, that's. I love hearing another professional. Pasta, that's good. Go after it.
You're getting to be almost as bad as attorneys.
Okay, now,
How's that? Is that what you were looking for?
no, that took an ugly turn.
Okay, it's my turn. Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve amendment number 1 to Bruce McMillan Architects for the design of this CPE 4th floor renovation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded on approval of amendment number 1 for Bruce McMillan Architects to design the 4th floor renovations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. John.
Do I need to cross that?
Yeah, just cross through. Chairwoman,
Apologize for not having that.
write your name in there, and thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, John. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Everybody has something to.
No, it looks good. I think the preliminary work looks really good. Good deal.
Thank you very
Are
much.
you cutting any new windows? I know you complained.
Yeah, we're matching it. If you look, every floor has 2 windows on that side except for that one. Why did they built it and just on the 4th floor put 1 window where every other floor has 2?
Yeah.
So they're putting one in more in there and replacing both to match. And then that's the only window they're cutting in, I believe.
So I know you had commented that there wasn't that many windows. I don't know who.
And it makes no sense if you go up there and look, why on every floor did they do 2 windows and that one they didn't?
Nothing.
When Casa was up there, we had that conversation. They never understood that either. 'Cause it wasn't on an area where it was going to leak or anything, and it just
Made no sense why they did that. Evidently, they decided we couldn't afford 1 more window. Don't stop.
I just thought
There's been some issue about it. You know, maybe they had equipment there.
Yeah.
Can I start off with the credit this year? There was a tab missing. There's a 4th page.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so
That's on John.
I start off with the credit.
That's
this
on
year.
John.
Okay.
So do you have some additional new plans that we can take a look
No,
at?
just those, the
Just the
ones
ones
that
that
you've
you
got. Yeah, nothing. I don't envision anything really changing from there unless for some technical reason they find it. And I think when they bring it to bid, they should bring you those plans so the commissioners can see.
Okay. Yeah.
I was actually assuming that's the way it was going to look.
No, I think they've done a good job preliminarily. It's kind of lining it out. They've been really good to work with and given this
Yeah, that's gonna, Shelley's
historic, it's not a historical building, but historically contributing that Bruce has a lot of insights on how to be sure that everything's addressed and.
The city.
I did get a copy of the draft legislation.
Yeah,
Okay, I want to make.
Went through about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, my theory here is this, the committee isn't gonna care.
I know when you're meeting on issues and they still staff, be sure and visit with them on this, I'm sure it's not a problem.
Well, it's on record.
The bathroom was a big one,
Oh,
It tells
Yeah,
them,
that's gotta be.
it really is a.
because it has to be renovated for ADA, but you gotta leave some of the historical
Direct
con.
everybody to the KC
Don't
website
believe
where
that.
they can see several
Urinal in there,
videos that tell them
that-
exactly.
that's-
I think they're taking, I think they have to make it ADA.
Yeah, they have to. That's a pretty
First time I looked at all three.
small space.
Those are excellent.
But like
And you
the,
can even, you can afford,
like marble panels, or
Yeah,
whatever, you
but
have
I-
to use those, you know.
they want you to.
I know they do, but should we?
I don't know.
I think you can. I think
Oh, yeah.
it's okay.
That's what I wanted to check before I did that.
No, it's
I'm gonna put it out through social media, but I want to make sure that
And what you do is.
we're in the spirit of advocacy still. And
Right, but I mean, the premise is.
Marvel, you have to treat all of it.
This is education.
Oh, really?
Do what you
I
want
don't
to
know
do.
much about marble.
Here
You have
is
to, you
what,
have to seal it,
what
keep it
the history of LED.
because it's really.
You make your own
absorbent.
Porous.
So you're probably gonna get a
I
chance.
may
Like
get
all-
that good, so
like all rock, concrete generally.
I'm not wording it the way that
Granite's like-
excuse it. I just don't know if there's,
Granite, but.
I don't want there to be any issues
Pretty
with
much.
that.
Yeah, and you can't guarantee it.
Get out.
Quite frankly, those videos, if anything's gonna convince the public of what the truth is.
It's
those videos.
pretty.
Those are outstanding professionals,
Doesn't do much to it.
and they're quick. You know, not one of them's over 7 minutes.
Going the full time on the executive.
Yeah. And that's Shelley's fault, because it's her executive session.
Absolutely.
See, there you go.
It's John's fault, though.
Oh, even better. Deflection.
You gotta kick me out, I'm gonna blame you too.
Yeah.
I guess.
We appreciate you.
You know.
No, we're gonna do that
Good way for a
executive
lot of-
session first or what?
Out first. I think that's all we're doing.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna have time to do.
Okay.
It's pretty good then.
Not for a little while. Is it already?
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't think it would.
So it's sticking on the streets.
Really? It must be cooling off faster than I thought then.
I'm already getting emails about moving everything to Zoom, so.
They're big flicks.
Are there?
Well, it's
yeah.
down to 35.
You know, one staff member said Pot County. I had another one text me already.
Yeah. I will chat with you post meeting.
So snow forecasted for the next.
That's the real
hour.
thing.
Yeah.
If it keeps up.
That lunch is
It's gonna snow all day.
It really, seriously, that's.
Oh, keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It's kinda
snow
cool to be able to see.
until tomorrow, basically, and then the wind starts. That's what the weather.
That's when it's really bad.
Yeah.
That's
So
what-
your temperatures are-
Oh, my goodness, it's really thick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And dangerous.
Well, I think I drove, my wife said, I'm not going in here today, so I thought, there's a 4-wheel drive and get together. Mustang doesn't exactly do much on snow.
I better start my car so I won't go dead on me again. They gave me a rental, but it would be, I'm not around. You know, but I got my other car back for the weekend, so they get some parts.
Our speeds just, that's over 90%. Construction costs have gone up way, and they used to be 6, now it's.
We're at a point in this world today where we are literally just nickel and diming ourselves to death. You know, I've got a rental portal app where I pay all my bills out, rent, water and everything, and they're charging $2.40 per transaction. I mean, I know it's just $2.40, but $2 here, $2 there, $4 here, $8 here. Credit card companies, the banks, everybody's doing it. It's like, you realize what you're actually doing here, right?
It's like the service fee on tickets,
Yeah.
where you don't even get anything on paper, you just get electronic. What's the service I'm getting here? I'm
Well,
paying
that's
you
like-
for the ticket.
Buy tickets for the cane, you have to buy it online, it's an added fee of buying in person, but they're only open a couple hours a week.
Right.
Get in there to buy them.
Right.
So you can't buy- And it's easier for them to buy them online, you're picking the thing, they aren't doing it, but they charge you $5 or $6.
Yeah.
You have to send them back something, okay, now here's my service fee for helping you.
Well, I mean,
Because their box office is open only a few hours.
Yeah, John, I was coming out at 7 this morning and the rain slush combination was so hard, it made it difficult to see the road. Wasn't the dark, so that didn't help, but
Yeah. The raining and dark.
I'm gonna tell them.
it wasn't slick, you know, the temperature was 37, so I wasn't concerned about that, except for hydroplaning, you gotta watch out for it, because it was coming down hard.
Yeah, so look at the structural thing.
There's once a vehicle just before it widened in your area, heading into town, a lady and a kid in a heavy rainstorm hydroplaned right in front of me right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
they need to check out.
Got out and helped her out, and she didn't get hurt or anything, but she hit the guardrail.
Son-in-law's been working in town and they're on the roof. Supposed to be on the roof today, but so.
Oh, come on, take a chance.
That's what I said, what the heck?
Maybe we'll see you go by over here.
But now he had to drive to Wamego to go to work.
In that construction world,
Yeah.
that was a good thing when I was in drywall construction.
Yeah,
Weather
you-
didn't matter. We'd throw a heater inside and just go.
And Brittany out at Fort Riley. I think, but the other day when it snowed, they sent her home. And so imagine once she gets there.
That'll be the next one to hear when Fort Riley, what they end up doing.
Yeah, limited duty or not.
they already started putting some protocols out there.
Oh, did they? I hadn't heard.
I saw it this morning. They going to their regular, what do they call it? Not
Essential personnel.
Essential
Yeah,
personnel.
thank you. K-State's doing the same thing too.
I heard they're just closing at 3.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Last night, they were just gonna have essential personnel come in, so that changed tomorrow.
Pricing this if they don't end up at closing earlier.
What was that?
I saw the same thing you did, that they're closing at 3. Although what we're seeing now, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and close earlier.
Yeah, I know. This is coming a little early, I think.
Yeah.
In snow form,
Smart
Yeah.
after all.
because they were only saying 1 to 2 inches of snow during the day today.
Yeah.
And then 3 to 5 tonight.
But, yeah, if this keeps coming.
It keeps
Yeah, it's
coming.
starting like
And you're
this.
saying, John, you're gonna run shit, you're gonna have everybody out till 7 or so tonight? And then 4 8?
Not everybody will have ample amount of it till 7, and
Okay.
then the mornings we will, they can come in at 4.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good.
So you have to.
Yes, says it's 33 out now.
Yeah, mine says 30. Oh, well, mine's in Raleigh. It says 34.
Mine's here, let's see.
And it says
Okay, I'll say something.
drop down to 32.
I've got
Six.
35. What do you have?
I had 33.
What is this?
Currently.
Oh, it's grand.
It was 37 when it came
I'd
in.
be interested to see if we close at work.
Hmm.
We never do. The only time I've ever seen us close was whatever it was 3 years ago with the cold. We had the rolling blackouts or whatever.
Boy, we're about to have
Basically-
some cold
Yeah, I
potentially.
know. Evergy basically told us you're closing. Basically,
We need your power.
yeah, we need your power.
To keep people warm.
Yeah.
Not build things.
Right. Especially when you have 2 ovens that get to 800, 1,000 degrees.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be 20 minutes.
Yes, it will be.
Like, see your electrical bill.
Out
The
there.
company, yeah.
Okay.
My car's going. It's on for about
I'm gonna
maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, and based on the.
Supposedly.
It comes in. I'll
I
switch
wish
out.
I could have really known to do that when I was in Virginia.
I can't believe that.
It's just a weird phone.
It is. Agreed.
I'll let you guys find me that.
And I'm gonna change it.
Who wants to
Brian
do
Foster
this?
comes running in just before the.
Draw straw.
Yeah,
I've got another one.
I'll do this. I'll do this one next.
Okay.
Except, I'll correct this.
Yeah.
No.
I guess she wasn't aware of the change yet either, but that's okay.
No, I got it. No, we can always move that name plate. We tried to get you with it. Right title.
Clancy, I think you're wanted.
I saw it. Yeah. It was funny because I told Anna this morning, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon living in Riley that he probably doesn't come in tomorrow. I don't even tell him.
But you didn't want you guys to have to.
Well, me, I'm 3 blocks away from the station, but it's good. We can do that. We've done it before. But
Were you already aware of Riley County schools closed?
No,
No,
Yeah.
They just made the announcement.
Really?
So school there.
383.
no, Riley County.
Oh, what is
Effective
it? 78.
378.
78.
Students that ride the bus at 11:15 and all other students will be dismissed at 11:30.
Action.
Rich, let's talk post meeting.
Yeah, I actually wanted to have a little discussion with all of you at the end of the
Okay.
meeting. Just to be
I
sure.
already had thoughts about this, so.
Just to be
I've
sure
already been thinking.
everyone's on the same page and just a reminder and
Well, actually, we've got, now we probably don't have enough time discussing it.
I was just gonna tell you, actually, webinar is 11, so I'll give you the.
Please go.
Thanks.
Yeah. I wanted to get an update from you and John's, I already got John, so.
I've heard nothing official, but sounds like power out, like up in the Bellevue area.
oh, already.
Man, that's not good.
I have a fireplace.
I've got 2 of them. Through that real bad ice storm we had, my house
Oh,
was warm the
yeah.
whole time. Blake and I hung it out tough. The girls left. They wimped out.
I had to leave my house. I had to leave my house.
We were talking about that the other day. Kids were young. I remember one evening to watch a movie, watched it on the computer, all laying on mom and dad's bed in the bedroom, complete darkness, watching a movie on the computer, and heard a big old crash. And we have a huge oak tree outside of there. A huge limb fell right close to
One time when I was young in Kentucky, we had a really bad ice storm. When it goes in 2nd or 3rd grade or something, that same thing happened. It fell on the back porch and just crushed it.
And our basement wood stove is one that extends out of the wall, so you have a flat top on it. So my wife cooked for a couple days on top of there, Kind of a neat experience.
We'll see.
Back to the old days. Yeah.
That's the next couple of days, I don't know.
That reminds me of that storm, shut down the store back in about 1970 or so, whenever that giant one was. And I know I was in Boy Scouts. I got stranded at a friend's house in Andover for about a week. And my family, the rest of them, of course, were at home because I'd been on a camp out. And they actually had to go shoot a turkey because they ran out of food.
I've got plenty of food, but I remember that would have been about the time I remember this day, little things you remember when you're real young. I must have been about 4, but it was that huge snowstorm. There was a huge pile out in between my grandma and our house because we lived right next door. And my mom and dad were looking out the window and I was waving. They thought I was waving. It's because I was stuck. I couldn't get out of the snow. I was just waving. They just waved
He's
back.
so friendly.
My boots got stuck in the snow.
Is that fighting for my life here?
Like you're supposed to do this.
Next question. I like it. Go back to 2000, that we lived on a big, the top, of a big hill from the street, that our house was still hill. And it snowed and sleeted on top of it, just made it. I said, daughter comes up, gosh, she hasn't made it back. When's she gonna get here? She got straight, Ben came in, battered hops. She says, I've been out there for a half hour trying to get up the hill. She says, I get part way up and I'd slip and go back down to the bottom. She ended up going down, there's a tree line down a couple houses down. Pretty soon through there and then coming through.
Oh,
She
dang
came
it.
in battered. Well, you're late. She goes, well, I was out there.
We haven't had a storm like that for a long time.
Okay.
I will say too, my family they were stranded in the rural area. They were nowhere near town. It wasn't like they could go around the quick one.
We're at 10:40. Yeah.
I move the county commission, including chair, board, vice chair McKinley and Commissioner Foki recess into executive session on pending litigation for the purpose of consultation with Shelley Woodard, Deputy Riley County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception of the Kansas Open Meeting Act. Open meeting resumed in the county commissioners at 11 o'clock.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to have an executive session on potential litigation. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we are live, Commissioners.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Second, that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also move that move the record reflect action will be taken consistent with the consensus reached in the executive session.
I'll second that.
It means it's seconded that consensus was reached in executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Regular session, and a little bit behind. I wouldn't get too comfortable, Catherine. You can go ahead. Yeah.
We're going to do another executive session.
Well, after these meetings.
Oh, after this, okay, at the end, all right.
Good morning, everyone. Nice, cozy start on Monday.
So way to look at it.
Yeah, it cleans everything up, it looks nice. Well, good morning. I'm here with the monthly staff update from the Riley County Historical Museum. Catherine Hensler, Museum Director. We'll start with the visitation and tours. In the month of December, there were 146 visitors to the museum, 16 to the Goodnoe House, 88 to the Wolf House Museum. And as you know, the Pioneer Log Cabin is closed for the season. So a little bit of a different table this month. Instead of comparing the last few months, we're looking at December statistics and then also 2023's annual total. So you can see for the museum, we had 2,176 visitors to the museum, 723 to the Goodnoe House, 803 to the Wolf House, and 381 to the Pioneer Log Cabin. As far as attendance at our museums, that is 4,083. And I wish I could say I could compare these to previous years. This is the first year since 2018 that we have kept comprehensive statistics. So from here on out, you're going to get the same apples to apples compared from year to year. Concerning volunteers, our regular and general volunteer hours for December were 48.25 hours. The Historical Society's Board of Directors put 136.5 volunteer hours in. We did not have any community service volunteers in the month of December, but as a total, 184.75 hours logged for volunteers in December. And then you can also see next to it, the annual totals. I won't go through each of them, but that's 1,629.5 volunteer hours for the year, which is excellent. And then concerning attendance records for essentially all of our programs, so sites, museums, libraries, programs, open house, outreach presentations, and other board and committee meetings. We're totaling 14,917 individuals attended one or more of the programs noticed. So those are good numbers, I believe. Like I said, we can't really put any statistics recently. But again, from here on out, we're going to have some comparable statistics from year to year. Looking at education and outreach in the month of December, on the 17th, we had our annual open house at the Wolf House Museum. 68 people attended, which is more than double from last year. So again, excellent. 4 staff members and 7 volunteers attended. December 18th, Curator Heisman presented a presentation titled When Caroling Saved Christmas, a Light of Hope During an Energy Crisis on our monthly K-Man session. And then followed up again on the 27th, where she presented that same presentation of Manhattan Optimist Club. 25 people attended that. I'm happy to announce that we have been working with Flight Crew Coffee, again, to bring back the fireside chats for 2024. And they have confirmed those dates for us. We will be starting our 2024 series on February the 13th. It's going to be the same second Tuesday of each month, free and open to the public, 5:30 to 7. And then we'll be doing this month on love and marriage on the Kansas Prairie. We thought that fitting for right before Valentine's Day. As far as collections, and we'll just skip down here with these collection numbers. In the month of December, a total of 2 full collections were donated. Of those 2 collections, only 1 item came in with each of those donations, so a total of 2 items donated. One of those items was processed
And John Munger, our curator of collections, was able to process 7 full collections of backlog items, which totaled 36 different backlog objects processed. And then we had one essentially found in the collection museum acquisition process. So for the month of December, we had 38 individual items processed and added to the collection. And again, you can see we have the annual totals here. I won't go through each of those numbers, but a total of 677 individual objects were donated to the museum this year and kept for collection. I should say process for collection. We have also been working with one of our museum assistants, Heather Bigwood, who's been able to go through some of the rejected items and reach out to other museums and offer them as a donation. That is the first step to any kind of removal of items that the museum is offering them to another collecting institute. In the year of 2023, we've been able to transfer over 30 objects to other museums. So it's a good step for us, and it's slowly chiseling away at that backlog. As we're looking at the library and archives in the month of December, we had 6 external research requests, no internal research requests, 2 in-person appointments, and 1 walk-in appointment for a total of 9 transactions through the month. That is low for the month of December. And like I mentioned earlier, statistics haven't been kept consistently. So I don't have the exact numbers for the number of research internal and external requests this past year, but we do have a total of 107 visitors visited the research library. One of the issues that we're experiencing at the museum is our track lighting systems for the galleries, which is the permanent gallery, the centennial gallery, and then also our storage area. Those are rather old track lighting systems and they are slowly going out. So even as we're replacing bulbs, the fixtures are not, I'm not even sure, I'm not an electrician, but they're burning the bulbs out very quickly. So we are going to have to look at some solutions, and we have been working with Public Works to find a solution for that. For now, we're just, we brought in temporary floor lighting systems for the storage area, and then we're rotating because they're on track lightings, we're able to rotate those lights around the galleries to light the exhibits as we want them. We are also still working very hard on museum cleanup. You'll notice there is a dumpster there again. We are cleaning out storage areas as well as the Dallas gallery. Again, like I mentioned, every time we talk about the dumpster, we are not throwing away collection items. There is so much just random office supplies, paper folders, things of that nature that have been around in some cases since the 80s. No longer used to us or anyone else in the county. So we're just disposing of those things. As far as staffing, we do have 2 open as needed museum assistant positions right now. We spent the month of December interviewing, and at this time, conditional offers have been made. So hopefully I'll be coming to you in the next couple of weeks to talk about those new staff members. The Historical Society's bookkeeper unfortunately was in a pretty horrific vehicle accident in December, so the society is currently without a bookkeeper. While that's not our responsibility, we do step in and assist in moments like that, considering this is an organization that supports our museum, and so we are helping them to seek and find a new bookkeeper that will be able to step in hopefully soon. So if you know anyone waiting for a part-time bookkeeping position, send them to me. It's not a county position. It is through the Historical Society, so that's through the nonprofit. There is a different application, interviewing, and hiring process, but they are actively receiving applications. And on December 13th, the Historical Society Board did approve their 2024 operating budget, and they planned for some additional preservation and maintenance projects of their properties, increased funds for education and collections programs that staff oversee, as well as some additional professional development opportunities for museum staff and the Historical Society board members. They are also looking at enhancing security systems on all of their properties.
And then lastly, I'll go through just a couple upcoming events that I think are importantly share with you. Is on January 19th, the Historical Society will be hosting a members exclusive exhibit opening and reception at the Wolf House. That'll be from 5:30 to 7, and it's free to active members, but everybody is welcome. There is a fee for non-museum member, non-society members, but that fee will go towards membership. And that is a precursor to the January 20th public opening of the new exhibit at the Wolf House Museum titled Forget Me Not, Funerals in Victorian Era, Riley County. The exhibit will remain until the spring of 2024, and it is free and open to the public. The Wolf House is open every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5. We will be hosting another Kansas Day celebration on January 28th, and it'll be run similarly to last year as an open house. It'll be at the museum, 2 to 5, free and open to the public. And then, like I mentioned earlier, February 13th will be our first fireside chat at Plate Creek Coffee for 2024, and that'll be titled Love and Marriage on the Prayer. That's 5:30 to 7, free and open to the public. A great date before Valentine's Day. Other than that, the society has its ongoing annual membership campaign. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Have a
Thanks.
nice day.
Thanks, Catherine. Next one, we have John Ellerman, 11:15. And did I hear something? Is there going to be an executive session after? John? How long plans do you know?
We're talking 20 minutes.
20?
Okay, John, go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Good morning again, John Ellerman, Public Works. This morning, we're talking about the community park fund allocations. So, each year, Public Works budget has $60,000 that we set aside to divide up between the community parks. This year, the Community Park Advisory Board had met, and their allocations and requests and allocations of each park are in your packet in the attached spreadsheet. It all helps the parks in each of those communities to make improvements and add things to the park. So this year, so we had that one last month that University Park has to reserve some funds into the CIP for their pickleball courts or their court project. This request, we had two of them that I think they're looking for restrooms that they want to build. And they would like to be able to reserve $11,000 in the CIP to build towards restroom projects. Between these and their city funds or whatever funds they're going to use to do that, they'd like to build up some funding with by able to put their allocation into reserve to build up for these projects.
Yeah, 'cause I thought it was a little low for a restroom.
Yeah, very low. That's not even,
That's,
that's not even going to cover their design.
yeah,
Well, $60,000 between what, 6-8 parks?
Yes.
It doesn't go very far.
that's-
And so you got Litterville and Ogden wants to build a restroom. University Park would like to take their portion of another $11,000 and put it in CIP to help build up funds for their projects. So we want to do, this is a two-step, I guess, motion to approve the allocations and to approve the reserve, transferring those funds for those into the CIP for reserve. Probably not the clearest explanation, but if you have a question, I may be able to answer it better than what I explained.
Kind of struggling with the two for the two cities. I mean, they're cities. The parks technically aren't county quote unquote parks.
We support it, sure.
I don't have a problem with that, but we're transferring back into CIP that we're using for county projects.
We're just reserving the CIP, but then you go pick it out again.
Are we gonna do that again for something else?
We've done it, they did it.
I know.
They did it before,
We have.
Randolph,
Yeah.
Randolph's.
I
Just restroom projects, some of the.
I just asked that we have to be kind of careful with that because we're moving it back to a county fund for county related things. These aren't county related parks necessarily. I don't have a problem with the allocation. Let's start with that, but I look at that and I mean, I've had the discussion with Ogden on that one too, and
I think, I'm trying to think of the right word. Typically in the past,
okay,
we haven't let go of this money until they spent it or showed us a receipt
okay,
for the materials or whatever they're buying.
okay.
One way around that would be is just here's your donation for the park this year. And then that way we're not saving their money, that they're responsible to do that themselves.
Gotcha.
I mean, we've done it this way. I know, I hate this way we've always done it. This is the way we've done it, unless we want to have problems. We didn't have issue, the park advisory board don't have issue. I get where you're coming from. There's no way they can do these type of projects with the money that the allocations we keep them. And that may be something too, is this cost of materials and other things go up, is do we want to increase this one? The allocations, which makes it tough because it increases public works budget.
Yeah, not at the moment, but I don't want to make it go away necessarily either, but the more I look at this, I think we're crossing a threshold here that I think is difficult. That's just, I mean, like University Park, for instance, that's unincorporated. That's not a problem. The $11,000 for both the other entities isn't the issue. It's how we're applying that and what that opens us up to later. I don't know if there's an easier way or a better way to do that or not. I don't know, but I don't like the idea of putting it back in CIP where that's county run projects altogether, if it's a reserve fund or not.
well, the 60,000 is more like a donation from the county to all the community? Is
I wouldn't call that
is
a
what you're saying?
donation. I mean,
Well,
it is,
I wouldn't
it's
look at-
technically tax dollars,
Well,
but it goes to a good thing. Don't
Yeah,
get
I
me
mean-
wrong, but
what other parks do we give money or set aside money?
Well, there's a.
it's right there, you know.
Yeah, all on that
Just
spreadsheet.
there, that's it.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, in
six,
the
seven,
past,
eight.
if we give money to Keats, that's a county part. You know, it's Parks County.
that, Fairmont Park is used some.
We've given money or set aside money before for Randolph Riley.
Yeah.
Leonard.
Yeah, we have.
You know, have
Yeah.
it either.
Yeah.
It's the only place you really have to set aside money for something like that is CIP, unfortunately, unless you budget new monies the next year in public works for it, so.
I do worry that, one of those, we come back and go, well, we're gonna do this and this and this separate than parks, and then are we doing the same thing? I mean, are we creating a threshold? That's,
But like you said, you haven't paid out, we haven't paid them the money unless they
Right.
show that they've paid it for those projects. They can't just say,
and I'm not suggesting they're going to do that. I just.
it's been. I wonder how long has it been, that 60,000, how long? That has changed.
Oh, it's been, I would say like 2010 or something. Yeah, it's been that since I've been here, so it's been 5 years anyway. Yeah, since they raised it.
Which are like, that's not the issue now, but I'm just, And they all work, they have a meeting, all representatives from all of these people get together and they say, well, we want more this year. If we take more this year, can you, we'll take more last year.
This group, I'm really impressed with
how
generous they are with each other.
They really understand each and everybody's needs
Yeah,
there, and they prioritize it based off of that, and I agree, that's impressive.
Because I know that's what puts them through the city when I was there, that sometimes, well, we're not taking the money this year, but we're gonna get more next year, because they've got a bigger project this year, and we'll get a bigger one next year or something. So they all work together to make this work.
I don't think that's.
John, I'm happy to Jack, yeah, if you would, please, David.
Hi, David Willis, Riley County Parks. These bathrooms are for the parks. Because the community is being so small, raising money, they get donations to help with these things. Randolph was in that position of, in 2010, there's multiple years where they raised money in order to build that bathroom in the park. Same thing with Ogden and Leonardville. They're wanting to do the same thing. They're trying to share some of the plans for the design of the bathrooms, some of the costs, if you will, with the same architect. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but they're limited on funds, and in order for them to kind of put money aside to help with that, then if they can do that for multiple years, it just makes it easier for them. In the case of Zedale Park, they've raised a fair amount of money, like I think over $85,000 in this past year to help with the development of that park. Currently, the money they're being given through this allotment is going to be used for a shelter, I believe, the concrete for the shelter, but they've got money raised for the rest of it to be built. So it is really vital for these communities to be able to do that if possible. If not, like Rich said, maybe there's some other way we can do it. I don't know. It's not my area of expertise, but it is really helpful to these communities. So.
Well, let me ask a couple of questions here, just logistically speaking, as we put that in a reserve fund, we're not adding that to the list of things that we're discussing later on, because it's already there, so it's not not being re-added to the equation.
Right.
Unless we decide to take it actually out, which is, I don't think that's what we're wanting.
That unexpended balance will roll over to the next year's beginning balance.
Okay. Still wish we could figure out a better way to line item that, but maybe we can. Go ahead.
Greg, is Riley Park included in that as well? The state Riley's Park?
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
They got some stuff on there too.
Yeah, it's just, one of those things. And I know that's kind of what the commission wants to talk about, or I think it's somewhat indirectly related on our strategic planning, personnel and cost. It's, you know, Riley County's unique and one of the few counties in the state that even has a parks department, very unique. And then we not only pay for Riley County parks, we subsidize the city parks where they have taxing authority. And so it's just all adds to that tax bill equation. And so, yeah, it's been done throughout my tenure. This whole thing has, and they do work very well, but it is additional expense. And so, yeah, if you roll it over, it's
Well, I think
more
we
tax
have-
to replenish it the next year.
Well, I think we have this because our community and our region likes parks. Maybe different than other areas of the state. I can't vouch for that, but I can only vouch for where we're at right here, but just, I do struggle with that.
Well, all these communities reflect the county, but it's important that we have good facilities, you know, speaks well as a county and to the people that pay taxes here. So I think it's important to support the smaller communities too. You know,
It's not
not just me.
that big of a thing. Cause I've heard of news, Shawnee County, their parks department has pools.
Yeah.
What's that gonna be real expensive?
John wants a couple pools.
Volunteering for pool. Remote pools.
Yeah, they actually take care of the parks for the whole city.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the best place to put it, CIP for that.
I think that's,
Well, as long as we're not putting those dollars in there and then debating at a later time. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not explaining that well, I
but
guess.
I would say they've done it, I know Randolph did it for a couple of years to build up their, for their restrooms.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a big one that we had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's my only concern. I don't have a problem with the allocation of the individual allocations to each of the communities, but
Get a motion?
Let's see.
The motion's in there.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the 2024 community park allocations as presented and recommended by the Raleigh County Park Advisory Board.
To include the transfer of the 30.
And the transfer of 33,000 to CIP for future larger projects.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the $60,000 budget for the 2024 parks. And as well as the approval of the $33,000 to be moved to CIP for larger projects. All those in favor?
Aye.
John's up again.
Yes. Unless you want to do it.
That doesn't matter to me.
So I'm not totally up to speed on this one, but it seems like periodically we do some work at Seco Park on city and school grounds, mowing, trimming, picking up stuff. And we don't charge that back to each of those entities. This year we have $342.72 that we accounted for doing and looking to write that off our bill. That's the policy.
And that's just that's part of the MOU, an MOU in the city of Maryland.
Out there.
And they've got something separate with the school district on that. That's that area that's also in discussion in Seco Park and around Seco Pool. Speaking of pools. Interestingly, though, that's correct me if I'm wrong, I'll defer to the attorneys, but that goes back to 1981, so that's 40-something years old, an MOU. That would place that.
Give me a math question.
Well, I'm asking you a logistical question. You don't have to do the math. If that MOU is correct, that actually goes before Seco Park or Seco Pool.
The pool was mentioned in that, I believe. And it was all part of the development of Seco Park. If I read it, if I'm thinking of the same one that I read a while back.
I think the first year of service of that pool was either 85 or 86. That would have been Andy.
But I think
87 or 88.
it was planned Just plan to go
I
there.
remember whatever first year it was, I was there, so maybe I'm not good at math either. I'm getting old at both. Both, we'll go with both.
Due to location, John actually does have a pool.
Yeah.
You just don't maintain it.
Guess we're gonna have to talk about that, huh?
I do whatever you ask. Within legal, as long as it's legal.
It's gonna be talking to Clancy too much. I don't, who knows, somewhere down the road with discussions of Seco Park, this may have to be changed, but for accountability purposes for 2023, I'm not worried about it.
So I moved to write. Excuse me. I moved to write off the park fund accounts receivable charges assessed to the city of Manhattan for Seagull Park maintenance as presented in the amount of $342.72 for 2023.
I would second that.
Okay, give me a second to get back to my original screen here. Okay. Been moved and seconded to, I'm sorry, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and write off the outstanding balances and then Parks account receivable in the amount of $342.72. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, I think Russell's here to update you on his latest report, possibly.
Thank you.
Hang back for a second too, John. If you-
Russell, did you want to update the board real quick before they go on to their next item?
Yeah.
This is the emergency management. So we just got off a webinar. The original estimate was for snowfall rates of 1 inch per hour, and they've increased those to potentially 2 inches per hour.
I can see that.
They've moved their high confidence line south of I-70 now and increased our rates. Our rates were estimated to be 4 to 7, and now they think we're looking more at 6 to 9. And even the additional hazard will be the wind speed, especially in the morning. Looking at 20 to 35 mile per hour sustained and 45 mile per hour gusts. So, they anticipate that to last till early in mid afternoon, but still at 20 mile an hour at 6 p.m.
So I'm good.
What kind of temperature?
Yeah, it's within.
They didn't talk about it getting real cold. They didn't really highlight that. I didn't ask. One of the slides probably shows it.
Yeah.
The temperature for tomorrow says 28 for a high, 15 for a low tomorrow.
So
But we'll drop it later in the week. Do the
not
weekend
brutal
clips.
cold like Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
When you get the second.
Yeah, for Friday, they're saying 14 for a high, 2 for the low. Saturday, 10 for a high, -5 for a low.
With wind chills,
Sunday, high of 3,
yeah.
low -4 without wind chill.
Without.
Not that one Chiefs game, I'm guaranteed.
I think it'll get-
20.
I'm pretty sure Saturday, we're showing like 17, -17 when Saturday.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
So this is all gonna freeze.
But, so, tomorrow looks extra hazardous. The rest of the day today, probably not good.
You say
Have
thank
we
you
heard
for that.
anything?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well,
County offices.
Yeah.
I think it's probably time to act, guys. I think,
We don't need people on the roads.
yeah, I'm thinking of shutting everything down here at 1:00. And tomorrow, at the very small, I mean, open up on a delay maybe at 11, but I'm thinking no on that too now.
I've got,
Forecast, and it'll be low visibility.
Yeah,
I've got Cayman's latest in Potawatomi County, as we've heard, is closed at 1 today. Nothing on State or Fort Riley as of yet.
State's pretty much.
K-State.
Sandra, what?
K-State was at 3. Yeah, Clay County, I have no idea what
What
they're
about,
doing.
I'm more worried about what we're
Council
doing
Grove,
here and
what-
who's on the road and who's not right now, but
what about Council Grove?
It's not on here.
County is that?
Council Grove, that'd be
Yeah.
Morris.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing they did add is I kind of said they moved they are gonna, I guess I didn't say this, they are moving the winter storm warning down to another tier of county. So previously Wabunsie's, and on the slides, I just sent you one, but like Wabunsee, for
Yeah.
example, it's not in the warning.
Right.
Now it's gonna be.
Morris probably too.
Yeah,
Are they extended it out to Shawnee? I didn't see, I just,
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not, so one farther than what in the slides I was sent.
sometimes.
Yeah, I checked during the executive session. Like I said before, where I live was kind of the line. Now it's south of Manhattan where the line is now for the
Oh,
heavy
it is.
stuff.
South of I said.
Mhm.
And it's looking at the forecast for ending snow here is been extended too, so that means you're
And I know,
gonna get more snow while it snows and it's gonna snow for longer.
at least one of our firefighters up north, he posted that he's sliding around on the roads way north, extreme north, but north of Randall.
I'm gonna err on the side of caution and safety there, so I'm probably with Pot County. I'd look to close at 1 and we can decide what we want to do tomorrow. But I like to get out ahead of it. I don't want to wait till 4 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I want to decide.
Just as far as tomorrow goes, and it's something we don't always think of, probably not enough, but John has a lot of custodial crew that get here at 4. And so a lot of times when we call it off at 5:30, they're already here. And so that's something to kind of think about as well. And, we all think about, the travel from Manhattan to here. I'll bet 50%, if not 50% live outside of the city limits of Manhattan. It used to be some of his guys, and not the current ones, but I'd call them and I say, and I'd always tell those guys, because I said, okay, think of it if it was your wife or your daughter driving. Would you recommend that? And Pat Collins always used to say, here I am up here saying it's hazardous driving conditions and we're making our employees come in. And Pat always said, and Leon used to say, it actually makes it easier for their crews if there's less of us out there in
Exactly.
that way. And
Yeah.
so,
And they're already going to be battling the same conditions, and it doesn't matter if you're driving a salt truck or a Prius. I mean, you can see, you can't see.
and
So
I think actually for driving conditions, they'll be worse tomorrow.
Yeah.
Including
Absolutely.
afternoon and evening with those high winds than they are now.
Yep.
I can live with closing at 1 and then I'm good with tomorrow.
Tomorrow completely.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
I'm good with that.
Okay, thanks.
So I can put,
Sorry, Vivian, I know that makes your work a little harder here in the short term.
No, this is, I've already been posting like crazy, and here, I stepped up to say Erie County is reporting a lot of slide offs.
Okay.
Already, and that's what's headed our way.
so the board agreed by consensus to close the offices at 1 today and close for all day tomorrow due to inclement weather.
I still don't call.
No, of course.
I was gonna say, I don't make extra right now.
I just like to do that ahead of time, so I know if people have kids and other teachers and responsibility. Yes,
Schools are out,
I'm closed at 1 today, doesn't make any sense. It's
You need
just-
to get home.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
So,
Thank you, commissioners. We'll get the word out
Okay.
to staff.
Still would like to talk to you outside of that, Rich.
Yeah, no problem.
And I think are we still gonna do an executive session?
Yeah,
Yes.
20 minutes to get us out of
Yeah,
here.
I'll get outside of here, okay.
Yeah.
We can have you.
Well, we're gonna talk about that, yeah, because I've got to turn that in tomorrow, so.
I'm good with it.
That's not an executive section.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
We're just gonna discuss.
We discuss it, right.
We do it afterwards.
Okay, so at least,
Oh, where's Vivian? She doesn't know that we're going in executive.
does she already take?
Yeah.
Well, she's right there.
Okay.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, oh, she's behind the post.
No, I'm good. I don't need anything else.
How about you leave this?
I need you to stick around while we had this discussion because we had road crew.
Do we want to
questions.
cancel our 1 o'clock or we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call Bruce.
We're gonna go till noon, Vivian.
Has the motion already been made?
No.
I move the county commission, including chair, board, vice chair McKinley, and Commissioner Cokie, recess into executive session on pending litigation. For the purpose of consultation with Shelley Woodard, Deputy Riley County Councilor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission at 12:00.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to move into executive session on items of pending litigation. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are live.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Then we seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
And I also move the record reflect action will be taken consistent with the consensus reached in the executive session.
I would second that.
Then moved and seconded, that's record reflect action shall be taken
Thank you.
consistent with the consensus reached. All in favor?
Aye.
Nancy, you had one other item, correct?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. Chairman. You all have copies of the draft letter on Senate Bill 196. I've got originals of that flag for signature. If you don't have changes, if you do have changes or want additions, I can certainly make those real quick and get it back to you. The point of this, as I mentioned earlier, is not just to tell the committee what you think, because historically in recent years, committees sometimes don't really care that much. I'm sorry, but I mean, that's just a reality. But this is designed to make the point is to address not only the committee, but also the leadership in both chambers. So apparently that's the holdup on this, as I understand it. And so it addresses both of them and encourages them to directs them back to those videos on the KAC website that break down in various ways the history of LABTR, the point of it, and why it's important to counties. I think those videos are outstanding. And quite frankly, the CC is important too, because I think it's important that you tell the committee, we're putting this letter out there to the public. What KAC has recommended from the outset of this recent year's discussion of get people out there to the video, send those things out there. It's still education because we're still telling them, you're not telling anybody what to vote on. You're telling them if you care about your real property taxes, look at this proposed piece of legislation and here's what the board thinks. And they would know what you thought if we just sent them a benign letter.
Yeah. And I think it's a good idea to try to direct them, hopefully they will, yeah.
But some of them might. I mean, there's always that, I don't want to there's a real possibility. Some might go out there and look at it, but more importantly, the people, it gives you the ability by telling the committee, we're going to give this to our PIO and we're putting out a press release. Because I think the more you talk to people about that and circulate those videos, the better. I'm not saying it's going to turn the tide or anything.
Yeah. And I will say from my discussion with Senator Tyson, what she's pushing is to close LABTR and eliminate, there's a 1.5 mil state property tax and eliminate that. And I said,
that does nothing. Particularly when you're going to come back and put potentially a 4% tax cap on top of it.
I know.
Not going to be a damn thing.
Like I said, we disagreed, but we'll get a civil conversation.
And that's good. That's good. And I would encourage all of you, and I know you would do this anyway. I think those kind of conversations are important, even when you don't come, as you know. I mean, if the other side on an issue sees that, oh, you're a real person and oh, you have this position, you're not, so wacko. If there's something behind what you say, it's good for the future on different issues that you may disagree. I mean, it's just a good thing to do. So, we'll see. And I know it's a little more, it's a kind of a pointed letter, but it's intended.
The whole conversation's been pointed at this point in time.
I think that's fair. I don't think you'd lose anything by the tenor. I tried not to, but again, I can soften it if you want. I can change it.
I'm actually for making it meaner, but just leave it at that for now.
But we can put a PS, Commissioner Ford, the Chairman of the Board wanted this meaner.
That might not be the appropriate grammar.
No, that's not.
Instead of this word here, insert this one.
Yeah. But I've got a list of appropriate adjectives you could choose from.
Appropriate or inappropriate.
Both.
So do we need to make a motion?
Please, yeah.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the letter written in testimony of support of Senate Bill 196 that is addressed to Chair Karen Tyson and released to our public information officer for press for use. All in favor? Oh.
Just even make it.
Second, first at least.
I'll second it.
Sorry. I gotta get used to this.
It's gonna take a meeting or two. It's been moved and seconded, to, approve written testimony in support of Senate Bill, 196. All those in favor?
Aye.
All three sign, please.
Do we want to see if we can draft one against that 2036 for next meeting? Or that's the last meeting before the meeting.
I thought I'd bring it in. I was assuming you probably won't.
Okay.
If there's consensus to oppose the veterans.
Yeah.
I'm having a couple of final dialogues with, couple of committees here, including the Military Relations Committee on that. So, I'm kind of with you on that. I think the homestead act and a couple other things would be more viable than,
And like I say,
it's a sliding scale. It's a sliding scale,
Right.
is what it is.
Yeah,
And
I think the
I just
homestead
not-
thing has an income
yeah,
tied to it. This thing doesn't. It's not a problem.
and that would probably be one of my bases for that argument too. So when you're drafting that, I think there's two points in the considerations.
And again, my discussion with that one, or she would say, I said, I know it's primarily the Leavenworth, Riley and Gary. And she said, no,
It's not.
Sedgwick and
Yeah.
Shawnee have looked into it and it'd be a big hit on them too.
I think Sedgwick, particularly, Conner.
Well, and she said Shawnee because of the well, they were certain National Guard stuff over there. They've got a lot of returning vets there.
I've also originally I planned to go up there and just at least watch the hearing. I'm not probably gonna do that. I would say I've got plenty of other stuff that spend time better rather than watching them.
Well, and there's no guarantee that they're gonna get to that on Thursday if they decide to shut down due to. weather.
Yeah, who knows? But I'm just telling you, that was the original plan, but I'm not gonna do it.
I'm more concerned about the second round on this in terms of that, and I may
Sure.
try to make myself available to be in person when that time comes.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't gonna be the final shot.
No.
Gonna come up again.
Okay, so
Thank
I
you.
think that completes our agenda and pieces of the non-agenda.
And accessories
Do we have anything else this morning?
and plenty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have anything, Rich?
No, do not, commissioners. Got the word out to everyone that will close, so.
That's all that. Be safe, be warm.
I'll try this again. Let's make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this afternoon's meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
You're gonna support that despite this obvious grab for power
Yeah.
from the former chair.
How many
No,
original